Checks echo, I'm the sound of the brawl. Canvas creaks, flesh slaps, bodies rise and fall. Steel cage dreams, no escape. All pain, blood stains mixed with the sweat and the chain. Adrenaline surging my veins, spit fire. Crowd chants feeding my soul's desire. Turnbuckles tremble when my wrath collides. Glory's the belt and I'm taking the prize. Boom. The squared circle where legends collide. Boom. No mercy, just a wild ride. Boom. Lights flash, fist clash, can't resist. Boom. The squared circle digest. Pyros ignite, shadows dance in the glow. Ringside roar, it's a gladiator show. Chokeholds tighter than the grip of the night. Climbing the ropes to new championship heights. The mat's a battlefield, no room for doubt. Every move calculated, every scream a shout. The bell tolls louder than a sinner's regret. This is the place where the bold never forget. The squared circle where legends collide. No mercy, just a wild ride. Lights flash, fist clash, can't resist. Boom! The squared circle digest. The squared circle where legends collide. No mercy, just a wild ride. Lights flash, fist clash, can't resist. Boom! The squared circle digest. Circle Digest!
Yes, sir. Tuesday, 7 p. The place to be. It is the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley. As always, we are joined by the great Frankie Fresco. And hey, everybody's right once, right? Finally, Frankie gets his way, and he's got a Hurricane Suck shirt on. That is fantastic. That is fantastic.
Sir, what are you talking about, sir? I mean, what are you talking about? I'm trying to sport. I'm just trying to fix my camera. Sir.
Yeah, I know you're fixing the camera, so it's right there on the.
All
you
right.
know, although your team was watching us since what, week 7? You guys were eliminated?
Even Siri's telling me hurricanes suck. I don't know if you heard Siri right now.
Well, they might suck, but they made it to the national championship game. Didn't see the Gators in there this year.
You want to know something, sir? It might be the situation, but both of us have no trophy. Neither one of us have a national championship this year. So,
we have a couple trophies on the way up. We won the Fiesta Bowl. We won the.
oh, you mean the second half bowls? Those bowls, not the national championship.
Yeah, you know, the bowls you win on the way to getting to the national championship.
I mean,
that we were playing for, and you guys weren't.
Yes. Last time I remember, if you're not first, you're last.
Yes, you're 100% correct. Tony's already in. Papa's already in. Appreciate you guys. Everybody watching us on X, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you're watching, please jump over to the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe notification. Also, the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel. Hit that notification and subscription and everything else that you need to know. So when we go live Tuesdays, Frankie Fresco's got a full week this week, right?
Yeah, so tomorrow, late afternoon, late evening, we're out. We're flying out. Going out to LA. So late afternoon, I'm a little bit under the weather as well, trying to get through this before I head out. But yeah, I'm gonna be traveling out, and then hopefully coming back by the end of the week. By the end of the weekend, and then we also have a DJ. We got a DJ on Sunday as well, so I got to be back here to Miami by Sunday. So definitely be here. So we're traveling, but we'll be back on time. And but yeah, so it's quick in and out. I gotta work tomorrow, and then after I work tomorrow, leave, head out to LA, and then come back. Taking the red eye.
Yeah, the red eye. Yep.
And then I come back Sunday morning, and then I wake up. I wake up. I'm gonna be sleeping in that plane, and I'm gonna wake up and then go and DJ Sunday evening, and then back to work on Monday. So it's nonstop for me. What about you, sir? How about you?
Oh, our season's pretty much over now with the Canes game being done. Dolphins are done. The Heat are nothing. So right now, this is my time. I was in Orlando on the weekend. Did a
Oh, nice.
Universal. Yeah, we got the Universal annual pass, so we're able to hit that a little bit more often now. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I've got the minimum one. You know, not the one. Well, not the minimum one because there's the minimum one. Like there's so many blackout dates. We finally settled on the one a little bit above. So yeah, it's good. The kids like going, so it's all good.
Nice.
There. Yep.
That's good.
And I did. Well, I'll ask you, Frankie. Did you watch the TNA debut on AMC?
Of course, that's why it's one of our topics, sir.
I know. I didn't feel like you watched it though.
Why wouldn't I not watch it? It was memorable, sir.
You were one of the 173,000 that watched it.
Yes, but I didn't watch it live. I recorded it.
I watched it on the app. I watched it on the app live. Yeah.
Wow, that was their number. You know what? I had not even listened and watched I didn't know their number.
Well, at first it came out as 95,000.
Oh my god, that's how bad it was.
And then they put it to 173.
Jeez.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, like I watched it on TNA Plus app. I didn't go to AMC to watch it.
I watched it on AMC.
I already have the TNA Plus, so and I was looking at it, I'm like, I wonder if this is accurate. It said coming up live at 9 p.m. So I went 9, I hit it. AJ Styles in the ring, and I'm like, oh man, okay. So I'm wondering how many people are doing that instead, because like I don't get AMC.
Okay.
You know, but I mean I have a way to watch it still. But when I saw it on the app, I'm like, forget it, I'll just watch it on the app.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, since that's our first topic of the night, we are gonna get into WWE and AEW and all that
Well,
stuff.
the rest of the show is going to be all pretty much AEW minus maybe, and we'll probably throw actually some of the signings in here because most of the new signings were really
That is true.
through TNA too.
But
so
but
that'll
let
probably take care of that. But go ahead.
but let's start again then with the TNA, right? Well, we were excited, right? I guess well, some of us were. It's supposed to be like what was it? Like I was hoping for something like the WWE premiere of Netflix, right? That's when I was
No, I knew the production wasn't going to be that much, but
no,
I thought they would get some help from WWE. They
exactly.
got no production help from WWE at all.
Well, here's the thing. So
They got no production help from WWE. They got AJ Styles. There you go.
but nobody even like tried to help them out as far as like promoting them. Like they did a really crappy job promoting the show too. Like a lot of us I don't think a lot of people knew that this was gonna be live. And I think that's why when you say this number, I'm not surprised. And remember, people were talking about saying that this is a big thing for TNA. This is also I think it was you who had mentioned last week when we had, I think, Josh and Bobby, that WWE was gonna make a priority to try to
I
have
thought they would. I honestly thought they would.
they were gonna try to have
Not
TNA.
necessarily a priority, but at least give them the help to bolster them to make. Because here's the thing with AEW to me, and Frank, I don't mean to cut you off, but I am going to right here.
Okay.
The problem I have with AEW is when you watch it, it doesn't look big league. Just like TNA didn't look big league. But then when you go to WWE, it looks like a big production. It looks like, oh, this is important.
Well,
and it just felt like it was just lacking so much. Where like, you know, and again, I mean, AEW has gotten a little bit better at production wise. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like that is one of the things that a lot of people miss out on when that WWE does so well to make it seem bigger than what it is.
Well, here's the other thing too. You got to also think about, you, even though AEW doesn't look bigger, I'm sorry, WWE looks bigger, AEW doesn't. Why is it like they look like the third tier class, right? You had 1, 2, and then they would look like a way big third compared to everybody, and that's where you and myself thought something different. We thought they were going to be able to be at least on that second tier with AEW. That way we could go ahead and compare it and be like, okay, cool. All of a sudden now we have ourselves a good a third, another company who's going to compete for that second spot, because nobody comes close to WWE, right? We already know that. But so let me ask you, man, because let me, if it's okay with you, I want to highlight some of the stuff that happened, right? I want to show
Mm-hmm.
you how they started with this show, right? So and then you could cut me off whenever you
Well,
can.
can I ask one thing real quick? And I don't know if you're going to go into this, but the timing of the show was so horrendous. It made the show hard to watch.
What do you mean by that? Say that.
The
Like,
segments, the way everything was set up, it didn't flow.
I agree with you.
It did not flow at all. It was like it felt like it was stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, and it was very. Hopefully, they'll figure out. Maybe it's just growing pains or whatever. But that's where I thought maybe they would get some help from WWE as far as for the TV part of it.
Well, so let's go with what started, right?
Yep.
Obviously, the big name was AJ Styles, and we all said, okay, cool, AJ Styles finally there. But now, let me know if I was wrong on this, because it looked like when they first introduced AJ Styles, his logo came out, but the music didn't hit right
It didn't
away.
hit right away. Nope.
I don't think that was the intention. I think
No.
they actually, you would want that
That
to
was the
be.
first hiccup. That was the
Yeah,
first
that was the
hiccup.
first mess up. But so you had the crowd scream out AJ Styles, which was okay, but you already were like, okay, this sounds kind of awkward, right? This looks awkward. So you have that, and here's my little rip with TNA, because I watched TNA back in the day, but not as much. But AJ Styles was big in TNA, right? And he used to come out with fireworks and all that stuff. You have none of that crap. Like, you didn't have any fireworks or anything for him. All you
No,
had was
it's
him, and then they did the little screen on the runway, like on the entrance, on the, I guess, what, the
Let me
walkway
ask
down
you
to the
though,
ring.
was there any fireworks for anybody?
Nobody.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say
There was
because
nothing.
that's what I was saying. Like it to me, the production was so like at least have a guy there with some Roman candles. Do.
They could have called you and me. I would have
Yeah,
been on one end, you
yeah,
would have been in the
yeah.
other, and we would have been holding
And
the Roman
fire right over
candles.
his head. Do.
And that's the and again, Sean, like, those are like little simple stuff that you're like, damn, like, you
No, it
used to
makes it
have this.
feel. It makes the product feel bigger than what it is. Frankie, you've been to live shows, AEW and WWE. When you go, the shows at the arenas look the same. It's a ring, it's the crowd, it's little bumps of the ring and everything else, There's no real difference there. The difference is what's portrayed onto the screen from the production and the cameras and everything else to make it seem bigger than what it is. And to me, it felt like they were filming with their phones.
Yes.
It was like,
Yes. It was so bad. Like, I was like, man, is this really going on? Like, this is
yeah,
bad.
I really thought WWE would be like, hey, we're done with these cameras. We'll give them to you. Like, I think they were barely HD. It felt like they were barely HD. And you're in 8K on WWE. Think about that.
That's so crazy. So then, so you had AJ Styles. He goes out there, he
Yeah.
talks and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Then we move on to the next segment. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the next segment was Ryan Nemeth, popping
Yeah,
up in
doing
this segment.
outside the ring with the people, whatever that was. Yeah.
What the hell was that? Like, so there's a show apparently, and I wrote this down because I took notes down for all this.
Yeah.
They had this show called Dark Winds. I've never heard of this. I don't watch AMC
It's
as
an
much,
AMC show. Yeah. I mean, none of us are going to know
but
it.
but 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 it looks like the same concept as WWE, right? Like,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
want to do.
The celebrities are there doing, getting AMC involved like WWE does at Netflix and USA and whatever else. Yeah.
So the first mistake that they did, after obviously not putting the song when AJ Styles logo comes out, is that they have this group sitting on the opposite side from the camera view. So when they start to go interview this group, the cast of the Dark Winds, you could see in the back that there's like a shitload of empty seats, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then you're like, and then obviously I think I sent it to you. You saw what happened. The whole opposite side of
Oh,
the wrestling, of the actual arena was completely empty. They only
yeah.
sold.
They set up for 3,200 seats. 3,400. They sold 3,100. But then I don't know why. Hours before they went to go live, they opened up those two sections. and they didn't sell. But now it looks terrible because you look behind.
It looks
And
horrible. And then if you're gonna do that, cover it up like I've seen AEW, I've seen WWE
WWE,
cover it up.
yeah, that's what you do.
They
That you
cover it up.
darken it, at least darken it enough to where nobody can tell.
So when you're looking at this on screen, you
Yeah.
actually look and be like, "Holy crap, there's a shitload of empty seats back there." It looks bad. And then it was just a very, very weird take between that Dark Winds cast
Yeah.
and Ryan Nemeth. If you guys don't know who Ryan Nemeth is, that's
Nick Nemeth's brother.
Nick Nemeth's brother. So
Little
Dolph
brother,
Ziggler.
by the way.
Dolph Ziggler. Damn it, I'm
No,
having a hard
say it.
time.
Dolph Ziggler's
Ziggler.
brother.
Dolph Ziggler's brother.
There you
So
go.
you're
There you
like, okay, it's so weird. And then I get it. They're trying to do the same thing like what WWE does, and it just felt awkward. I think that somewhere in how they smacked him, and he hits his crotch with a gate or something, and then he falls
He
down.
goes to hop over. They kind of hit him as he's going over, and he crotches himself and then falls over. And then he's doing these faces, and the camera stays on him, and he's looking at the camera like, "Go off, go off!
I was so
Why are you sitting looking at me? Go to the guys that did this. They're celebrating, and no cameras on them. It's on Neiman's brother going, "Oh, that hurt! Oh, that hurt!"
Dude, it felt like an eternity that they were showing
Yeah.
this guy like faking that he is crotch with her. It was so bad. All right, well, anyways, all right, so screw it. So you move on. It's already an awkward most segment. You're like, whatever. So then you have what is this guy's name? Their GM, their
Santino
Santino
Morella.
Morella. So they have Santino Morella.
Santino.
Obviously, their story going with Santino Morella about his daughter betraying him and all that stuff. Her daughter is the one that is at NXT and all that stuff. So then he
Ariana Grace.
Ariana Grace. So then all of a
Or as I
sudden,
call her, Ariana Disgrace.
sorry, that's why you're Sean, the Great Stanley, because you come up with some great nicknames here.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what ends up happening is he actually is, he feels like he's down because of the betrayal and all that stuff. So they decide to hire somebody to help him out. And that's when we get one of the first signings, of course, right? And that is Daria Ray, which a lot of you guys know is Sonya Deville. And she comes out and you think she's gonna be friends and buddies, and then all of a sudden she smacks the crap out of Santino, and then she announces her first I guess hiring, and that is Cora Jade, which
Elena
now
Black.
is Elena Black. So
Yeah.
you got the girls there from WWE and an NXT girl now
And
making their way
another
there.
thing with that one too, Elena Black, they think they're WWE at this point. They bring her out and she just sits up on the stage, does her pose. That's it. It's like, that's all we get. That's it. Okay.
It felt so awkward. Like what you said is so point on, so spot on, that they were like doing these certain takes that would they just look off. Everything looks
just
so
like-
off. Like they tried to do certain things to make it look good, and it
You know
was
what it looked like?
completely off.
They were still recording.
Yes.
Segment cut, segment cut, segment cut. Okay, put it all together. It'll make a great show. Unfortunately, when the show's live, not so good.
All right, I'm gonna try to go speed this through because I think
Oh
we're
God, please!
because this was
This
bad.
next segment, if I believe, was the worst segment of them all.
So then you have so for you guys and gals that are probably in our age group, right? They probably know who this guy is. You got a guy named Paris Hilton, and this guy is a blogger.
Perez Hilton.
Oh, I'm sorry, Perez Hilton. My bad.
Paris Hilton is the female.
Yes. So you got this guy, Perez Hilton. I kept saying Paris Hilton. That's why I
No, all good.
So if you guys know, if you're our age group, right, you probably know because this guy became famous like in the mid 2000s, right? Like 2006, 2007.
Entertainment type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a blogger, and like he's the type of person. He's on social media, and he gives us like celebrity news and stuff like that, where he's talked about like Britney Spears and Kanye West and a couple other people. So they randomly brought this guy, and this guy, I think half of the people didn't even know who the hell he was, or at least 99% of the people didn't know who the hell he was. And he's there, and he introduces the Elegant brand, and they reveal a new Mr. Elegance, which is some random. And again, I don't know this guy because I don't watch TNA like hardcore. So I'm trying to learn these guys.
Well,
So
no,
this
I believe he's actually a newer signing also.
he is. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
because
that.
the week before on a recorded show, they put a picture of a guy like me, and then a week later he transformed into that because of the Elegance brand.
Okay, well, and let's to you guys that did not watch it, he's in like this white fur, like
Yeah.
covering his whole body.
And
That
he
way,
walked to the ring in it as well, and all it's doing is moving the whole time they're talking
oh
in the
my
ring. It's
god,
this
that
guy
was
like dancing in it,
so.
and
Then
then
so Sean, think about this. When they reveal him, right?
Mhm.
All of a sudden, he takes that stupid white fur coat off,
Yeah.
and then he's dancing. And here's the problem also with TNA. And again, like you said, it's like if they were recording, they they had so many goddamn commercials every single friggin' time. If you're watching the damn show, that he was dancing for like 2 minutes while the commercials were playing. Because I read on social media that because of the commercials, they didn't have anything. They didn't prep or anything, or I guess they didn't know how to
they
do
didn't
it.
do anything in between to keep they basically did what old WWE TV did. It went to black. That's it. It was just a black stadium. And then when it was about to come back, they'd be like, we're going back live in 15 seconds. We're going back live in 10, 9, 8. Get on your feet, make some noise. Raw's about to go live in 3, 2. And then they go live. Apparently at TNA, they weren't even doing the countdown.
Wow.
They would just turn the lights back on, and it's everybody's like, "Oh, okay, we're back, yay!"
Jesus, like you said, bro, it's like they were so unprepared. It was terrible.
It just felt like I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if it was. And again, Frankie, you've said all these segments, right? You've talked these segments so far, right? How many matches have you said?
There was only 3. There was only 3 in the whole show. I was like,
2
what
hours,
is this?
2 hours, 3 matches. Yeah.
I noticed that. I was like, what the hell? What? Like these fans got cheated off of that because dude, like seriously, it was bad because okay, now no, don't get me wrong, the Hardy Boys came out and they did their match, right?
Mhm.
But then when the Hardy Boys came out, did you notice that there was like some 2 random ass guys behind them as well? And I was like, who are these random ass guys? And those were like 2 other celebrity bloggers that apparently
Yeah,
I don't
well,
even know their
they
names.
what they did was they tried to take a page out of WWE in a way. They had a lot of the wrestling influencers there. Wheezy, some of the other names, not necessarily the bigger ones,
Who the hell
but the
is
ones that talk a lot about wrestling.
Little
They
Wayne?
had them there in the audience and doing stuff so that they could kind of get, free advertising for the new show there on AMC.
That was really bad. And then to speed up a couple of things also that happened was obviously there was one point in time when Dixie Carter came out. She got the hell booed out of herself out there. Bully Ray finally came and it was an awkward type of moment because they had some type of friction before, and then all of a sudden he hugs her to kind of calm the crowd down from booing her ass. And if you guys don't know who Dixie Carter is, she used to be the owner, right? The owner
Yeah,
of
yeah.
TNA. So
Her dad bought her TNA as a hobby.
now let me ask you something, because again, I'm not too big on TNA. Why was the crowd booing her? I mean, from what I read online, it said that she kind of tried to do everything to save the company and try to make it like serviceable for people to watch and for it to continue. Is that the case, or is there some type of bad rap with her in TNA that they were booing her?
My understanding is she sold the company, of course. She got out of Dodge once it lost so much money. But she was involved in a lot of, I believe she was the ones that kind of brought in Bischoff and Hogan.
Okay.
And some of again, decisions that are made, again, when she first bought it, she was the hero. You live long enough to become the villain. But she also put herself as a villain. So that might have been part of it too. People remember the storyline of her, her taking over AEW, which I wish Tony Khan would do. But they had Dixie Carter where she became like the rogue owner, and she had EC3. Her Ethan Carter III was her nephew, and she had all these other guys that were there to be a part of her. Nick Aldis was her champion, who actually beat AJ Styles and sent him to WWE. that was part of it. That's the other thing is a lot of the AEW originals were kind of not kept, I guess, because they didn't feel appreciated. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, they went to WWE. So I mean, again, you live long enough to become the villain regardless. But I think it might be more storyline and just some of the decisions she made mixed in.
Okay. And then I guess the last thing, kind of like the spotlight of the night was the fight between Frankie Kazarian and um this guy, what I favorite
Santana.
Santana. So which was an awkward kind of there were some awkward spots on there as well. And before even that main event came, there was a couple of times that they kind of like gave us the idea that AJ Styles was gonna do something like challenge for the belt, but he had a face to face with Frankie Kazarian, and he also went and spoke to Santana and everything. But let me ask you this, man, because this is where I'm a little bit like confused because they kept announcing also because they were promoting their pay per view more than
Yeah,
ever,
Genesis. Yep.
and they keep saying that people were having like visa issues and all that stuff. And one of the guys who was in their pay per view was supposed to be Leon Slater.
Yep.
And a lot of you guys know, and Leon Slater, he's been kind of trending in the WWE because they had him for the last Saturday night main event. He was the one who teamed up with Javon Evans and all that stuff. So a lot of people booed when they found out that he wasn't going to be able to make it to Genesis. But then if you tune into Friday Night SmackDown, which was being taped overseas,
Jeez.
the opening match, I mean the USA Open Challenge with Carmelo Hayes, all of a sudden you hear and you see Leon Slater.
Yeah.
So what the hell happened there, Sean?
Well, because he doesn't need the visa to go over there. He was there.
But why
That's why WWE sent Joe Hendry back and then said, hey, because I think what was going to happen was Joe Hendry was going to be the one answering the challenge for Carmelo Hayes. WWE was like, wait a minute, Leon Slater's got visa issues. We're near his hometown. We're going to send Joe Hendry to you on your show, and we're going to bring Leon Slater onto ours. Is that okay? Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, that's what we're going to do. Done.
But okay, but let me ask you something, because you make it seem like it was like the right decision.
If you got visa issues, they can't use them anyways. So what do? Just tell them to stay home?
But Sean, I mean, why were they so unprepared? Why didn't they figure it out to have this kid? I mean, they knew the starting date of
but he's not the only one that. There's a lot of people that had visa issues, man.
Yeah, no, I get it. They kept announcing
new stuff that's going on now. It's not as easy. It used to be if you worked for them, WWE could prioritize. And you know what's funny? WWE may still be able to prioritize.
Well, this is
but a lot of the other ones now, you've got to go through all this process. It used to be, I think, like for some of them, because they had working visas or whatever, it wasn't a long process. But now, since it is a long process, unfortunately, if you do not get it in the right time, you have to leave, or you're here illegally, I guess, if you want to take that chance. But you're wrestling on national TV.
I mean, look, man, I felt like it felt like WWE kind of had told them, hey, look, we're going to take Leon Slater from you, and you guys just figure it out. And then they gave him Joe Henry, but they didn't give him Joe Henry the night of their premiere.
Leon Slater was supposed to wrestle Trey Miguel.
Yes.
Okay, that was the match.
Yes.
Then that match got put off because of the signing. That ended up not being a signing. But we'll discuss that in a little bit. But so Leon, so he had nothing going on, but it was already being canceled because of Leon Slater's visa issues. He couldn't come back. And they don't know when he can come back. That's the problem right now is,
this is insane. Okay. All right. And then to my understanding here, after TNA went off show, Nick Nemeth came out and he actually addressed to the fans and everything. But you didn't see that on the show. You actually saw that on social media.
But Nick Nemeth came out to do the cash in.
I guess.
And then Santana caught him before he could do it.
But my question is, why didn't you put that in the damn live show? Why did you
Because
put
it
that
was
on
the
social
setup for
media?
Genesis. It was the setup for Genesis.
Okay, that's
Nick Nemeth
fine.
gets the shot at Genesis now.
But why wouldn't you show that on the live show? That it would make sense. People would see him and be like, "Holy crap, that's Dolph Ziggler." Because I'm pretty sure they got some views out there, that some new eyes out there saying, "Oh, hey, wrestling on a
Yeah,
Thursday."
but what WWE used to do, and again, I
Oh, did we lose you, Sean? Oh,
backstage,
okay, no, you're there.
they would throw things to where only the live audience there. Of course, nowadays with social media, a little different because it ends up coming out. But they would do stuff to make sure that only the live audience, because again, if you can watch on TV, it's nothing different.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you give your live audience one or two little eggs so that you make people like, okay, the ticket's worth it.
Okay.
And to be honest, $36 to $48 for anything that wasn't with after the first three rows was the prices. So not terrible if they're coming into your area. So but I think that's what they were trying to do. Again, I'm not saying that it's 100% what I would have done. I think I would have gone Netflix debut PLE-ish for this thing, and then fizz out later. You know what I'm saying? But I think I would have done more balls to the wall, and I would have done more action than stories that they did. Like it just didn't feel like they had a good game plan on how they wanted this to roll out.
I again, it looked very amateur, man, and it hurt them, and it looks really bad. And you could only hope that they get better as the shows keep going. Because I mean, how long did AMC sign this contract with them? What, I think they're like for 2 years.
It's usually at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a year with an option. So
I don't know if their numbers are gonna improve,
yeah,
but 100.
I mean, I'd like to see where they finished on the night actually.
And that's another thing. You had AJ Styles. Why don't you put him in a fight? He doesn't have to fight Frankie Kazarian, the champion at that time, but they could have at least showcased him out there. I'm pretty sure people would have loved to have seen AJ Styles fight for the first time again in TNA in a while, and then it's the first show of the night. That it makes sense. But they didn't even do that. They didn't do that. They only had 3 matches the whole night. They had dumb segments. They had some segments there where they were having mic issues. The lights were going in and out. I was like, what is going on here? It just looked bad when you were watching this show. I was like, damn, this guys look like they've never done TV ever in their life. And I mean, you wouldn't expect that from TNA. And here's another thing.
The other thing too is I don't know if they researched the stadium that they went to find out if they could really, or if they just got there and was like, okay, we'll do the best we can do.
Well, that was another.
Somebody should have scouted out some of the thing and said, okay, is this where we can do the best TV at? Like, I don't know that happened.
That was another thing, Sean. Did you notice that in the arena, like they would show the arena, and when they show the arena, like you would see the parking lot, and there's like 5 cars. You're like, wait, like what kind of shot is this? Like, try to make sure that the parking lot looks beat up. That way, people be like, damn, there's a lot of people who went out there, and they showed it like 3 or 4 times throughout the night, and I'm like, why do they keep showing the same stupid shot where there's only like 4 or 5 cars, and it looked like that was an early shot because it was broad daylight. So I'm like, what is going on here, man? Like, dude, it was just so awkward. And you know what? Let me ask you this, because I know that Jeff Jarrett had a big part in TNA back in the day, right?
Yeah, it was his baby.
Why? I get it. He is in AEW. I get it. But TNA is not part of WWE, technically, right? They're not owned by WWE. I get they have some type of arrangement or agreement. Why wouldn't you at least mention him in like the story of TNA and stuff like that? At least drop his name, because I feel like he deserves to at least have his name dropped. He had a big spot. They completely like didn't say anything about him. They said like if AJ Styles was the guy who kind of brought it all up, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. And Jeff Jarrett was one of the guys, if not the guy, who actually came up with
family was the one they started the TNA, which at the time when it first started was a weekly pay-per-view for $9.99. I think it was every Wednesday night. They came from the Nashville Fairgrounds, and they had basically a 2 to 3 hour pay-per-view. And then they ended up getting TV, and it became that. Then they did the 6-sided ring so that they could be different. Then Dixie Carter and them got involved, kind of pushed Jeff Jarrett out, or Jeff Jarrett wanted out, whatever it was. And this is the product you got now, man. I mean, but again, when I look at it, I look, man. I know Tommy Dreamer's a part of it. It feels to me like they went and got a lot of guys that had been like with ECW because of what Paul Heyman did with less to make it seem more.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what they're doing. Like they're like, hey, look, we don't have this or that. Make this work. And that's why they got certain guys there, I feel. And this is just me. My feeling on it is they know Tommy's going to make as much, chicken salad out of whatever. He's going to try to do something. But I just don't know if there's enough chicken there to make anything.
It's rough, man. It's rough. And I honestly thought that they were going to get the help from WWE. I'm not saying that they were going to give him the whole house, but man, it just looked really,
I
really
would
bad.
tell you this much this week. I would just focus on wrestling.
Oh, yeah, all day.
I would do a 2-hour show of just match. And I would cut the vignettes. I would film and then put them in wherever, play them wherever. But I wouldn't do any live vignettes because that talent that you had out there other than AJ Styles was not prepared for live. It was just too much fluff. Just way too much fluff.
It was so bad, man. It was bad. And it sucks because, like now that we jump into the signings, Sonya Deville, she's very well known in WWE, so you would assume she would have gotten a pretty good pop over there at TNA. She kind of did. But then you got Cora Jade, which is now Elena Black, and it was kind of lackluster. They didn't didn't react too big for her arrival.
I mean,
but
they just had her come out on the stage. I don't know how many people saw her. Like, she comes out on the stage and just stands there, and it's like,
it's so bad.
And you got the two in the ring still. Like I'm just like, I don't even. Santino should have either left or should have got attacked. Like it made no sense. You just embarrassed me, and I stand here and take it like a chump.
Man, it was just bad. I hope their production gets better, and I hope like what you said, man, because I feel like that. I mean, I don't know. I wish we had like somebody from the audience, or maybe they would have. I mean, I could tell you this: if you guys follow wrestling and you follow at least the big guys like Bully Ray and Eric Bischoff and stuff, people like that, they all had their 2 cents on this show, and none of them were happy. Even Bully Ray, who actually works for TNA, wasn't even happy with what they did out there. So that goes to show you how bad it was. And I hope they get better. And hopefully they do compete to be the second one. Hopefully they're able to pull numbers and try to be the second tier type of wrestling right there and compete with AEW. And I hope they find ways to improve because man, it was bad.
I don't think that's going to happen because I think they're going to lose Leon Slater. I think they're going to lose Moose. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be left with whatever.
Why is that too? Like why is like whatever agreement they have with WWE, dude, like it's like I feel like WWE is doing the same thing that Tony Khan was doing with a lot of these people. So now let's talk about that.
Here's the thing is they are, but they aren't doing what Tony Khan did and went behind their back. They're just doing it to their face.
That's even worse.
Like, we're going to take you guys.
Just as bad as who?
No, but I think DNA can see the writing on the wall with who they want to take. You see who they want to take. You've watched it. You know who the people that have shown up are that they're going to, take. And like I said, they're going to give a Joe Hendry back every once in a while. They'll throw some other NXT guys, but now the NXT guys that were going over there are now moving up to the main roster. So that might not happen as much.
It just feels like, I'm not going to lie to you, man. It just feels like WWE did the same thing as Tony Khan, and I think they're just screwing them over. And they said, okay, screw it. and I that's the vibe I got, that they're pretty much doing the same thing that Tony Khan did with his other companies and
I'll
just
wait till
destroy
they
it.
get back because right now the problem they did is, and I don't know if this was a TNA and then AMC. They started this with WWE in Germany.
They
Like they're
did.
not here; they're all traveling overseas. So like you only have a handful. Like
Yeah, but you had the NXT people here, I'm pretty sure, from who are in Orlando.
yeah, but anybody that's anybody's already up there traveling with them.
No. They've
Like you
had
had
some people.
stacks there with Ariana Grace, but they didn't use them.
Yeah,
Like that was it. I mean, who
yeah,
else are you
but
gonna take?
you could still bring people from NXT. You could have brought in. I mean, there's still quality talent out. They could have, and I don't know up to what extent, but they could have brought in Kalani Jordan. She's been in TNA a couple times. She was the champion in TNA supposedly as well. So I mean,
Yeah, they took the belt off her because she wasn't getting any reaction from TNA fans. So why are you gonna bring that back out?
it's better than what they put out there on the first show live.
Yes,
I can tell you that.
Sol Ruka and all them are over in. They're doing
Well,
house shows. They're not doing the live shows and
no,
everything. But
but
there's a lot of NXT
Ruka
talent
came out.
doing the tour for house shows as well.
Well,
So
they did bring out Sol Ruka and Zarya, and they obviously they made that match for Zarya as well. So that was, I guess, I mean, they had um, very rare moments. But talking about the free agents, what do you think? Like, what word on the street is that there's a lot of moving pieces right now, and a lot of people are going to different places now. In AEW, we had a couple of signings, which was insane, right? I guess they were trying to take jabs because obviously they tried to. Okay, so they tried to secure Powerhouse Hobbs, and Powerhouse Hobbs turned them down,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
They,
yeah,
they and they were offering him good money.
yeah.
So
Here's the thing though with Powerhouse Hobbs, and this is what I'll say: WWE is good with guys with size. Tony Khan is not. WWE is not good with guys like Ricochet and stuff like that. AEW is. So I feel like Powerhouse Hobbs sees this and is like, I'm going to take over there to where I'm going to get used better than just being in a trios.
and if correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm kind of getting the vibe that WWE is trying to go after bigger guys now. Like you see, like if you look at Trick Williams, he's a big guy now. Obafemi, a big guy. Powerhouse Hobbs, a big guy. I'm pretty sure if Warlow becomes a free agent, they'll definitely go. I mean, they try to go after him once, I believe. So I think that they're leaning a little bit again towards, hey, let's get some big guys over there, because I feel like they were running
It's
short.
not only that. It's not only that, Frankie. Think about who you just named. What else do all three have in common?
I named Powerhouse Hobb. I named Trick Williams. I heard Obafemi. They're all from NXT. They're all young talent.
They're all African American. WWE is making a hard pitch to try to start pushing that because the narrative that Triple H does not push the African American athlete.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. I get the African American.
And again, I'm going off of what I'm seeing. And I heard it in a couple of, Sean Ross Sapp kind of said, there's a story out there about why they kind of went after Hobbs and things like that. And it makes sense because they are getting a lot of pushback about that. Think about it. I think there was a stat that somebody actually put out that Bobby Lashley was the last African American to win on a PLE. And he hasn't been there since 22 or 23.
That is true. But if you look at it, Trick Williams and Obafemi have been champions in NXT.
Yes. No. Again, it's perception. It's how you want to look at it. And but I think they're trying to make an honest effort, if you want to call it honest effort, or a concerted effort to boost her up.
I guess since you mention it, I guess there's that kind of narrative being brought up.
Narrative.
So they want to switch it up and be like, hey, let's change that narrative because we don't want people to assume that the WWE is racist, right? I guess that's the reason why. Oh,
Yeah.
and keep in mind, remember, we had a couple weeks ago when maybe a couple months ago when they were talking about back, and now this is again with different management when they announced, when Jim Ross was the guy who was the person who had been
Yeah,
like
with Devon.
discriminated with
Yeah.
Devon and stuff. So that doesn't help the cause either. But again, that's different management. But still, it's you. People are not gonna care. People are gonna say WWE, WWE, right? At the end of the day. So that's just
Yeah. No,
it doesn't help.
yeah.
It doesn't help them.
Yeah.
But again, you got some people. So you have Powerhouse Hobbs probably making his way over to the WWE. He's basically making the same decision as what Jay Cargo said. Hey, I
Yes.
could be bigger in WWE than in AEW, so that's why I'm gonna give that an opportunity. And they're interested in him, right? So
Yeah.
if they gave me that
There's mutual interest between the both.
yeah. So that and then you have other moves. So the Rascals, which is what AEW announced in their Dynamite show, had officially signed with AEW. So we get the whole group minus one now because I guess there was some
Yeah.
issues
3
with
out
him.
of 4 made it over.
But the other the
Trey
fourth.
Miguel did not make it over.
So what happened to him? Because I heard that
He put out a homophobic tweet in 2020.
uh and that's why they didn't sign him. That's why.
Yes. Yeah.
But that happened in 2020.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Apparently not to Warner Brother, to WBD. But you know what's funny is when you think about it, what did Eric Bischoff say about like when he was doing the wrestling? He's like, our toughest opponent was TBS, the Warner Brothers, basically what Warner Brothers is, because it was what they call it at the time, the not the right to censor, that's WWE. What was they had a group that would look at every show and like, oh no, you can't have blood here. Oh no, you can't say
I don't remember
crap here. Oh, you can't do this here. Forgot what the name of it was, but they would go through and look at all their shows. And then they would be like, okay, now this can go on air. And they're like, well, this shouldn't go on air. But apparently, because what set the whole thing off to me was when everybody's like, it's higher than Tony Khan. Who's higher than Tony Khan?
The network.
Exactly. But here's my other question. If they still wanted to hire him, put him on Ring of Honor.
Yes.
He just can't be on AEW TV.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you could put the Rascals, all 4 of them in Ring of Honor, and then the 3 of them in AEW.
Well, that's a good point. And that also kind of works with one of the topics that we have, where Ring of Honor is actually teaming up with Metroplex Wrestling, which is Athena's promotion. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit more into that. But another couple of signings out there, Zeta Steel got signed. Alex Price and Jordan Oliver got signed over to the AEW side. And
no real needle movers, just some good signings.
There's this one that apparently both WWE and AEW were fighting for. I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it right, because Hechicero is at CMLL, but he has like a dual contract. So I guess he's now working with both networks or both with programming or wrestling programming. But there's another girl. That girl, what is her name? Persephone or Persephone? I don't know what her name is.
I think it's Persephone.
She actually was being looked at very, very hard by WWE as well, because she had a couple. I think it was in Forbidden Door where she wrestled in AEW, and they really liked her, so they were going to try to steal her from, I think, CMLL, but CMLL kept her. She made a decision to stay, and then also now has this dual contract, I guess, and now she's going to be in AEW as well.
Smart by her, because the problem with that would be if you go to WWE right now, you're behind Julia.
Oof, yeah.
And you're behind Stephanie Vaquer.
And get ready.
She would be 3 on that list. That's like Kairi Sane after Io Sky and Asuka. There's Kairi Sane, right? That's where she would fall in that pecking order going to WWE. I think that's a good decision. Get some build up some stuff, and then if it works out better, then go to where the greener grass is, meaning money wise.
And like you said, they're bringing up more talent in NXT. Like Jordan Grace, all of a sudden is up.
Yeah, anybody that had a big contract will be up sooner rather than later. Especially with the way TKO is, because I have a feeling it's okay. Either elevate them or get rid of them. We're not going to pay people this amount of money to be on our developmental deal.
And that also goes to Mara May, right? Mara May is on They're talking about her, and ever since she lost the belt in NXT, that's when they all of a sudden made that we're thinking about, hey, let's move her because she hasn't been. I believe I haven't seen her in NXT as much, or with them pushing for her to get her title back. So then
Yeah.
that's when the rumors were like, okay, let's bring her up to the main roster and say screw the NXT world. So it just seems kind of like there's a lot of moving pieces now. In your opinion, what do you feel? Do you feel that AEW has been making the right decisions on the people who they signed, or do you feel that there's still some agents out there that possibly WWE is going to look to acquire in the next couple of months?
I think WWE is pretty set right now. And a matter of fact, they made a concerted effort to go back to the indie scene instead of doing more of the NIL. Before they were going to colleges, kind of recruiting these athletes and then turning them into wrestlers. They've had a okay success rate with that. But I think what they want to try to do is start getting guys and gals that already know how to work and then teach them the WWE way. It's a lot easier that way.
Let me ask you this: why do you think they're going that route?
Because they already got an audience, probably.
Okay.
At least the ones they would sign would probably already have a following. So you're bringing in a CM Punk. You're bringing in a Kevin Owens, a Sami Zayn, an Adam Cole. You're bringing in that audience with them. Whereas when you're bringing in these athletes,
Nobody knows them.
nobody knows them. You got to build, boom, 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 and you get your Obafimis and the ones that have been released. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to hit on some because some have it. Some understand it. And you know, I mean, and we'll talk about the Unreal stuff. It is a different lifestyle when you're doing wrestling. A lot of guys and gals think, "Oh, I'm just going to go there and boom, it's going to hit." It's not a switch. You can't turn it on, you can't turn it off. The fans are going to get into you, or the fans are going to eat you alive.
Yes.
And some people can play off the eat you alive and transform it into something better, and some get eaten alive by it.
I guess that's why you see a lot of turnaround, I guess, in the WWE because they don't have a time to waste. They need performance, they need results, and they're all about money right now with TKO. So they're like, yo, we need to make sure. Go ahead.
Go. Sorry, no.
Oh,
Sorry,
no, I was gonna say that we need to make sure that we're putting out shows out there that are gonna wow the people and keep the guys and the girls entertained. That way, we could still keep selling and we could start continuing to sell our product at these high rates, deliver to all these networks that we're offering all these shows. I don't know if you saw USA was bidding, like they're going hard to get Joe Henry on their side because they got Trick Williams obviously on SmackDown and stuff like that. So I could just imagine how Netflix is taking it as well. Netflix is probably like, yo, we need some help on this side. So it's like they have to fulfill everybody. They have to make sure that everybody's happy. And if they're paying buku money to some of these kids that you say are coming up and they're not delivering because the numbers in NXT kind of stay flat, right? They're like kind of like they haven't
Well, they
blown
are
up.
what they are. You have the people that watch NXT and that's it.
You're not
going to get the casual fan to go to NXT unless they announce John Cena, The Rock, Roman Reigns, something like that. Maybe you'll boost a little bit. Other than that, it's going to stay a little higher, a little lower, but it'll always stay in that main flux.
But why? Why is it that they have not been able to target the new casual fan into the NXT world
Because
and only
that's
to the red
not
roster?
NXT. They don't care. They don't, honestly, man. They don't. The WWE didn't really. What they thought when they went to do the TV show was like, oh, well, this will give them a chance to do TV. That's why they did it in the Universal or wherever they were at, Full Sail.
Mhm.
It's only in front of 100 fans. It's not like they're sitting there in a, sold out. So then that's what was thinking about with the TKO guys is as a business, and that comes up on a lot of the segments on Unreal. You'll hear a lot of the business decision. Think about how much money they're putting into NXT.
Yeah.
And what is their return on that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're looking at and saying, okay, we need to get this talent. If that talent is worth that, then they need to be up in our big leagues getting us money up there.
But
that's here. Because this is not NXT, I believe, will probably be their write-off.
Do you feel that
They're the charity.
do you feel like do you feel that in due time? I don't know how long what I forgot their contract, how long it is with the CW, but do you feel in the long run if they keep doing this and they keep removing the talent from NXT and moving them up quickly, that eventually NXT might go out of business? Like they'll probably
No,
shut that
no,
show down. You don't think
no,
so?
no, no, because they're building a new performance center, their own standalone performance center, filled with studios and everything else now. So
Okay.
they won't even be at Full Sail having to pay. And I don't even think they pay to be at Full Sail. What they do is they barter because the cameramen and everything are the Full Sail students who are getting to work on a full production.
Mm.
Because Full Sail is that type of company. So now you're working and producing a show that's on CW. So it works out for them, in that route there. But I think what they're going to do is build this new area, move them there, and then it doesn't matter because they'll own it anyways. And then I think it'll go back to what it used to be, where you would be making $1,500 to $2,000 a week to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And then, every once in a while you might get a higher one or two, but they'll be in and out and moved up to the main roster more than. I think right now they're keeping some guys longer there just for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because again, CW gave them peanuts on if you look at it, it was only $25 million for 5 years. So it's like $5 million a year. I mean, that's like covering costs basically.
Yeah.
For them, in a way. So, and again, what is CW playing on Tuesday nights? That might be, that's probably one of their best viewing shows. So for them, it's a win in that essence, but I'm not paying more for it. I'll keep it right at 25 if you want it.
Yeah.
If you want me to keep it on, I'll keep it at 25. I'm not paying you more for this. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense. So then let's since you mentioned it a couple minutes ago, are you cool to talk about the Unreal? Did you get the chance?
Yeah, I got through 3, I think.
Okay, so I got through 4 of them. Well, almost like half of the last show.
I think I'm on 4 now. I'm on the Vision one right now. So I think that's 4.
Okay. All right. So let's get your take. What did you think about this season and what you've seen so far in this new Unreal season 2?
I think I love I love when they take you behind the scenes on everything. But sometimes I do wish though they would keep some things a little bit, closer to the belt. I haven't got to the part yet about the whole Seth injury. So I want to wait to see that. But at least from the trailer of what I've seen.
You don't want me to spoil it for you either, do you?
No, I don't care. I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done here. I'm going to put it back on and finish it. But I think it opens up so much to who they are. It allows you to understand the way they think. Like Seth Rollins and Becky, when she's like, when I came back, I thought I was going to get booed. I didn't know what to expect. The only thing I want to do is, and you hear it from it's so funny because Cena, I wanted to leave it better than I got it. Becky was like, I want to leave it better than I got it. You hear it and you see it. And also like some of the things, your boy, the whole thing with LA Knight. And I'm going to spoil some stuff. So if you don't want to know the first 3 episodes, if you haven't watched it yet, it's been out since 8 a.m. Apparently you didn't want to watch it any damn way. So if you're listening, and earmuffs, okay? Because I'm going to go into some stuff.
Gotcha. Same here.
I found it interesting that LA Knight messed himself up.
I don't know. Let me ask you.
In the ladder match, he blew what they were trying to do.
Yeah, they preached about that.
To make him seem like he was there, and then Seth took it away from him. But it never got that way because they never got to the part they wanted because he rushed it.
Well, at first he wasn't rushing it. He was down, and then Triple H, you could hear Triple H say, "Tell LA Knight to hurry his ass up, hurry up." And then when he does hurry up, instead of
he was supposed to go up the other side of the line. They're supposed to go up and meet. He went right and pulled him down. It's like
And
He
then
killed it.
you know, you hear Seth talk about it saying, "Hey, I hate these type of matches because it's multiple people, multiple things
Yes.
going on at one point in time." And he's also mentioned that it was kind of, you know, it's a very dangerous match.
Yeah.
So you can't control everything, and once something messes up, it could become like a, you know, a train effect. You know, you're gonna have
Hmm.
more and more things happen that could mess up. So he was upset because even on the show, you see when Seth Rollins is like, he's pissed. He's like, he was mad at the whole thing, even
Well, he
though
was mad because he felt it didn't prolong the story. It didn't add the depth that they wanted to get to the whole LA Knight Seth Rollins story of him stealing it, because that's what Seth Rollins' whole thing was supposed to be. Right as you're about to get to the brass ring, Seth Rollins pulls you back down.
yeah. And then the crazy thing too is you see when they have LA Knight talking to Triple H, and Triple H is telling him, you know, why did you do this? This was the whole story. This was the whole situation. We explained you what we wanted to do and everything, and you just went off script on this. And you just see him with like a, you see LA Knight's face, and you're like, I don't know if he looked like he just, it didn't seem like he didn't care, or but it just seemed like I don't know what was happening. It felt, for me, it felt like, I don't think that was a good day for him, and I think he had other things in his head going on
Yeah,
that night, and I think that's why he messed up. That's how the vibe I
it
got
could have
from.
been. It could have been. It could have been. That's the other thing too that a lot of people don't realize is they're still brothers, sisters, moms, dads, sons, daughters. They have life outside of wrestling. Some stuff can happen outside that they have to bring in, and it doesn't always work out. I watched the Zelina Vega Chelsea Green match. Zelina messes up on the 619 and then tries to fix it by just kicking her right in the face.
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that.
And Chelsea broke her nose, and she goes in the back and she's like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then they finally tell her, look, hey, one more broken nose, you got to have surgery.
Yeah.
We can't fix it anymore. And one more broken nose, you got to do surgery. But here she is, 6 broken noses in.
No,
And,
and let me ask you something. And again, I'm noticing little things on this Unreal, and I don't know why they did it. So in that particular episode, I think that was like maybe the third episode, right? Um, in that Selena Vega Chelsea Green match, when she does the whatever you call it from the from the turnbuckle, it's like the reverse where he throws it
the
over.
code red.
The code red. Okay, when she does that, did you notice, like, they should have blurred something out? I don't know. You know where I'm going with this? They should have
No, I didn't
blurred.
pay attention to that, man. I'm sorry.
Okay,
No, what? I didn't see
so
that.
next time you look at it, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't. Again, I'm not trying to be like a pervert or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it, take a look at it next time, you'll notice they should have blurred something out, because I guess I noticed it on the day when I watched that show, and then on Unreal you could see it as well, and it's not good. So I think whoever does Unreal, maybe they didn't notice it or whatnot, but in that particular episode, they need to blur Chelsea Green out in that section, because it's noticeable. And I mean around her, again, I'm not trying to be a pervert, but around her private area. So that's one of the reasons why I said, hey, they should have corrected that. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I noticed it from a mile away. And then when it comes to the first couple, like the first episode was mostly focused on Seth and
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, right?
Yeah.
And the whole kid situation, the whole
Mm-hmm.
contract situation. I mean, she even mentions that she wanted to possibly even retire because she wanted to be with her kid.
Well, she did say this was her last contract.
She did say that,
Now,
yes.
I don't know what that means, but that was in there.
She did say that. And then you get through the episode with R-Truth?
Yes.
No doubt. Say what? All right, I don't want to.
He's gonna go watch this now just for that one.
I'm telling.
It's in episode 3, I think.
Yes. So
Something.
okay, so it's exactly, I'll give you the point. It's exactly the part that Sean mentions when she's doing the 619 and she does the kick. And then after that, she goes to do the code red. Take a look at how she's doing the code red and take a look at Chelsea Green. You're going to notice some stuff. And that's why I'm saying I can't believe that Unreal, whoever does that production, did not notice that.
But
They should
it's
have
on
never
Netflix. It's not on. They don't care.
again, I don't know who. Oh, okay, well, whoever's recording or whoever decided, I guess they don't care. But it just you could notice something, and it's not
Yeah.
good. So, but then I believe in the season 2, I'm sorry, in the episode 2 is the R-Truth situation,
Yeah, the
right?
truth.
And
The
Naomi,
truth.
which one that one was good too.
And
Look,
nothing but the truth.
I'm gonna tell you something though. I never got to watch all of the episodes on season 1, and I saw the first 2 or 3, and I kind of I thought they were kind of snooze episodes. This season's a lot better. That I could tell from what
Well,
I've watched compared to the first 3 episodes of the last one.
yeah, but the thing they did too, this is they tried to introduce the characters too much last time.
Yeah,
This time it's more like,
straight to
okay,
the point.
and they used a lot of the same ones. Minus Seth and Becky. Seth and Becky, I don't think was a part of the first one. But now it's Chelsea again. It's Cody. You're seeing the guys again, so now you don't have to reintroduce them. So you're getting a little bit more of the steak and potatoes part of what's going on. And if you can remember back to when some of this stuff is going on, it makes it even more like, oh, okay, that's why they did it.
Yeah,
Because like the whole thing with Becky and Lyra, that was Becky. If you watch it, she's like, I need to get her over. They're cheering for me to whoop her ass. I got to get her over.
no, and you saw the part there is I don't know if I think it's on episode 4 where Becky took over Bailey's spot at WrestleMania, and Becky feels like, bro, like she feels so bad backstage that she even talks to Triple H and tells Triple H, can we do something different? Because she felt like you've been working Bailey this whole storyline with her, and then I just come out of the blue and take her spot at WrestleMania, the Super Bowl. Like she felt so bad, and even Bailey gets interviewed, and Bailey tells them, "Hey, look." She felt hurt, like, damn, man, I've been working, and Becky Lynch even actually explains it. She's like, look, you're working all year long, and then the Super Bowl is WrestleMania. So if you've been a great wrestler, you've been a team player throughout the whole year, you expect to be awarded for your hard work throughout the whole year with a spot at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that's why in that I think it's in the 4th episode, or it might be in the 5th, I'm not sure, but I think it's mostly in the 4th episode where she goes and she says that, and Triple H is like, yeah, I'll consider it. Now here's one thing
But the thing too is though, with what happened the Raw after WrestleMania, it made sense. If you put the whole story together,
mhm.
That part of it made sense. Now again, sucks for Bailey.
That's what Triple H
But
says. That's what Triple H
Yeah.
says. Triple H says, hey, sometimes you have to make business decisions because for the storyline it made sense. So, but going to the episode 2, which was the R-Truth and Naomi, they talk about Naomi as well, and that's cool that they actually spoke about Naomi and stuff like that, because it actually tells us a little bit of the story of the previous management when she walked out with Sasha
Oh yeah,
Banks.
yeah. But I mean, you knew what happened there.
But it was
It was a
nice.
stone cold. It was a stone cold take your ball and go home moment.
But it was also nice to hear from Naomi's side, and one thing I do like about this Unreal is they do allow them to be just themselves, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like Naomi opened up and she said, "Yo, when I left WWE, it was the first time I wasn't with Jimmy, my husband, and it was hard. It was the hardest time of my life because I'm in at that time she was in TNA, and I'm not there with my husband, and I mean they knew each other since Evolution, right? I believe that's when they first met,
No,
and then
no, FCW and Florida
oh,
Championship
yes,
Wrestling.
FCW. I'm sorry, correct. And obviously they met up, and she used to be or they mentioned that she used to be an Orlando Magic dancer back then, and all that stuff, and it just worked out the whole time. And then look, obviously she's now pregnant, and hopefully she's okay. Some people there was something talking about her, and kind of awkward that Jay Uso mentioned something on Monday Night Raw about Jimmy and Naomi. So hopefully there's nothing wrong with their kid. But anyways, it showed that side of her, and then it also shows, a couple of people mentioned. I think it was Michael Hayes was the one that mentioned that he was surprised at how the WWE gave her a second opportunity to come back and
Well,
be able to be elevated to actually being a champion
she only
eventually.
got that because it's a new regime. She
Of
wouldn't have gotten it with
course.
the old regime. Yeah.
100%, 100, and Triple H actually says that because okay, so
Yeah.
I know we might be going a little bit over with when in this segment, but the R-Truth situation, right? So So you guys who don't want to get spoiled, you know,
Earmuffs.
mute earmuffs or take like a 10-minute break and then come back. So what happened was R-Truth was doing well. They show him up to that Saturday Night Main Event, which was in Tampa, right? That Tampa one that I wanted to go to when it was him against John Cena, because they had done that John Cena storyline. That John Cena kind of wanted R-Truth, right? And R-Truth was like, this is a great thing to do. And then he has a hell of a fight, hell of a story and everything. And then like the very next day or like the very next couple week or so,
a week later,
he gets called and told that they're not gonna renew his contract, that they were gonna let him go. And then that's when R-Truth, out of his own way of thinking, that's when he went on social media and said, yo, they fired me. But then you hear Triple H say, yo, we never fired him, we just didn't renew his contract.
Yeah.
I love that lingo, because it's like,
but technically, like he said, he was never not under WWE contract. But they just told him, we're not renewing your contract when it's done. That's the same thing Tony Khan does at AEW.
Yeah, but that's like saying you're gonna get laid off. That's the same thing.
But you're a contracted wrestler. I mean,
yeah, but
no. What WWE does wrong and hurts people is when they're like, you got 2 years left, and they're like, you're no longer needed. But you lost 2 years of contract. That to me is a little bit where he honored his whole thing. They just told him, hey, and the reason they told him that was because they were so far apart on money.
They were, yes.
On what they wanted, they were just like, hey, we're not going to renew it. And they thought that would make him come to the table. And instead, R-Truth said, hey, they fired me. Go get him, social media.
And and you want to know something? I wish he's like, obviously he wasn't gonna say it, but I wonder if he intentionally did that. Like, did he do that on purpose?
Yes, he did.
So he knew he was gonna get the crowd and the fans to back him up.
Remember this? Triple H said, what happened was both sides saw a different opinion of being so far apart.
Mm-hmm.
So the business side says, hey, we're not renewing your contract. Oh, you're not? Okay. Hey, they fired me, guys.
I mean, that was smart of him then. If he decided to do it. I thought he unintentionally did it. That was my...
I mean, he could say he unintentionally did it. No way. No way.
No way? No? Okay.
No way. Because if that is the case, hey, WWE's not renewing my contract, guys.
Oh, that's a very good point. He could have said it that way. But he didn't. He said they fired me.
They fired me.
Yeah, that's dude.
Come on, man. Come on. That's working the workers.
You know what? You got a good point, man. You got definitely a good point. So,
and you didn't only have fans going crazy, you had your locker room going crazy.
Yeah, you
had the QB1. Cody Rhodes said, no, that is R-Truth. That's a no.
And we'll talk a little bit about our QB1 here, Cody Rhodes. So and not only that, he was getting, like he said, he had over 1,000 text messages, people in social media, which was true. We even spoke about it. Everybody was talking about it. And then the crazy thing too is, he goes and Triple H, I guess they didn't go into too much depth, like what happened. Like they say that, hey, they were differential with money, but they didn't. I thought they were gonna go a little bit more in depth when it comes to like how they come to a resolution.
Well, they said they called him to the was it Backlash pay-per-view?
I think so.
Was that the one? It was Cody and Jay versus Logan and Cena. What was that one? What was that pay-per-view?
I could look it up while you.
So apparently they called him and they met with him and Nick. Him and Nick met, and that afternoon before the PLE is when they agreed on terms. And then they put him, I guess, in a room or whatever, and just with the hoodie, like nobody knew he was back. And the only wrestlers that knew he was doing what he was doing was Cody and Cena and the producer with Triple H, until the match. Right before the match, they told Logan and Jay, hey, this is what's going to happen. A hooded guy's going to hit the ring. It's okay. Because they're doing that so that in case a fan does accidentally do something crazy, they don't do that. And then they didn't wisen up Michael Cole. Michael Cole had no idea R-Truth was coming back. They never got into the details of the contract, the money details. All they said was him and Nick had a great conversation. They came closer on the deal. Once they got as close as they got, he inked the deal. The ink dried, and he came in and speared John Cena.
Well, I don't know if it's. I'm looking it up. It looks like I think it might have been on a SmackDown that they did this.
No, no, no,
Because it says
no.
this scenario refers to so I put Cody Rhodes and Cena versus Logan and Drew pay per view, and I even put Rob Killings coming in, and it says based on the WWE recent events, August 8th, the episode of SmackDown, not a major PLE or pay per view, where Cody Rhodes and Justin team up against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. They fought and Logan Paul blah
No, it was a
blah.
Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Okay, all right. So then
Yeah,
yeah,
it was Cody and Jay versus Cena and Logan Paul.
Oh, okay, my bad. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I thought it was Cody and Cena. My bad. You're right. You're right. It was Cody and Jay,
Yeah.
and Cena and Logan Paul. But yeah, I thought they were gonna go a little bit more in detail with that one, but they didn't. They didn't go. But
No, they're not. I don't think they're going to go into money detail because, again, like what he said, he got a 4-year deal, 1 year with 3 years of options.
they did
So
also. They also did show Road Dogg a lot, and Road Dogg, Road Dogg. I like that they showed their history and how
yeah,
close they
yeah.
are and all that stuff. Road Dogg is very passionate, man. You could tell that he's
Yeah,
like.
he wears his feelings on his sleeves, man.
Yeah, man, he's very passionate, and it was cool at the end when he actually goes and he was not even told that
Yeah,
R-Truth was back,
yeah. No. They
and
kept
then
it
they,
all
they
under
had their
vest.
moment, they hugged and everything, so that was pretty cool. I like that episode. That was a good episode. That was episode 2 as well, and then Naomi, the whole, they actually mentioned it that she was the one that threw Jake Cargill on that car. Like they confessed that she was the one who actually
Mm-hmm.
did it. Like remember we were always saying, oh, maybe it was somebody else or something like that, but she actually says, oh, I was the
Yeah,
one
she
who threw
said
her
I
on
was the
that
one
stuff.
that pushed her off in the car.
And then they also show her as well as like her. I don't know if it's in episode 2. It might be in episode 4 of how she's able to win the Money in the Bank as well
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
I think that's the one I just saw. I think that's 3 or 4.
That could be 3. Where she actually cashes in and she has like a broken, like I guess she had like a broken nose because Jay Cargo beats the crap out of her, and then all of a sudden they're like cleaning her nose up and all that stuff, and then she's like, "Oh, when do you got to go out there?" She's like, "In the next 30 minutes." So they're like, that's why you see her taped up on her nose, and then she cashes in and obviously wins the women's title, and then
Yeah.
obviously. They go into a little bit more detail as far as like how she treats the Money in the Bank briefcase by putting like her
Her
personal.
tape. Yeah, she asked Triple H, "Can I get the guys to put tape on?" He's like, "They'll get you a new one. Tell them.
Yeah,
Tell them
yeah,
what you want. They'll get you a new one."
yeah. Here's one last thing because I know we covered a lot of the Unreal. And I don't know if you saw some of the Seth Rollins, but there is, I think it's either on episode 4 or going to 5, where Triple H comes up with the idea of the injury for Seth Rollins, right? And he goes and he tells them that, hey, I don't want anybody to find out about this, right? Did you get to see that? Or you
No, but
haven't
I've
got
seen a clip of this already. I
okay,
believe it's
okay.
his talk with Seth about wising up LA Knight.
It's yes, all that
Okay,
is part
okay,
of it.
yeah, all right.
So then here's the thing that confuses me because they went ahead and they said, "Hey, this is where I'm going with this with the QB1, which is Cody Rhodes." So they wanted to keep it in an inner circle. So what they wanted to do is that they only some of the writers knew about it. Paul Heyman knew about it because he was actually there where Triple H brought it up because Triple H was the one that brought it up, and they didn't want to tell or Seth Rollins didn't want to tell LA Knight, but obviously Triple H kind of tells Seth
Yeah,
Rollins,
he
hey,
did the right thing. They did the right thing there. They
which
did.
is which is fair because
No,
obviously
yeah.
you
When Triple H explained it the way he did, like, hey, if it was you and you thought you hurt this guy, like you can't you don't want that on your conscience, man.
correct. And they didn't tell the referee.
Yeah.
And then Triple H goes on screen saying that there's 2 people that you never lie to, which is your lawyer and your doctor. So you always have to be truthful to those 2. So that's why he told medical staff in the back that this was all going to be a work. Now, at the beginning of that episode, you do see Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman says that he hates the show. He hates this show Unreal, and he would not want to ever like talk about it. So you're not gonna get the most honest answers from him. But he's so like he's such a persona, dude, that it makes you even want to tune in even more because he's so good at it. Like
Yeah.
even if he doesn't agree with the episodes and with the actual series, he still makes it really good for you to listen to. But
He's a showman.
he's a showman, absolutely. So here's where I'm going with the Cody. So they mentioned it to certain people, but I've noticed the trend throughout the whole like couple this season in particular. Triple H has a lot of trust on Cody Rhodes because he tells everything to Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Why the hell do you have to tell that to Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes was not even involved in that match.
I think what Triple H learned from was the Montreal screw job. Do you remember this?
Of course, I
Okay.
get that.
All right. You know who was involved in that, right?
Undertaker,
Vince McMahon, Triple H,
Shawn Michaels,
and I believe it was Pat Patterson.
It could have been Pat Patterson.
Somebody in the back. It was
on the four guys that like screwed Bret Hart.
That knew what was going to happen. There was one guy that didn't know what was going to happen. The locker room leader, The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And he was looking for everybody and for answers and like who the hell knew who didn't know. Remember that, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what he lives with. And he's like, I need to make sure the guy I trust to be my locker room leader knows what's going on.
Damn, that's crazy. That's a good way of looking at it. And I didn't think about it that way because I did see, I was like, man, he has a lot of trust on Cody. He tells Cody everything, bro.
Yeah.
But now I get it because he feels like probably the same thing as The Undertaker, right? Hey, that guy is
don't hide it from your locker room leader. He's the guy that everybody's going to go to and be like, hey, did you know that was going to happen? Did you know they were screwing us? Because the one thing that's always been a thing is like, you don't work the locker room. And that's what they did.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, ultimately, like I've seen the clips already. I haven't seen the parts of it yet where Becky's like, I'm about to bust. I hate lying. I'm lying to Seth's dad. I'm lying to his, like they're lying to everybody.
Well, here's the thing. She wasn't part in it until Seth had to tell her.
Yes.
So they didn't even tell her, but
no, because they wanted to get her, I guarantee you what they wanted. They wanted her gut reaction to something happening to Seth again. And then they will let her know and wisen her up.
Well, in that episode, she actually goes and she says, hey, next time you try to do any of this stuff, just tell Colby, because that's Seth Rollins' real name. She doesn't call him by Seth Rollins.
Seth at all.
Calls him Colby. She's like, tell Colby and everybody else who's in this stuff, don't tell me anything. Keep me clueless too.
Yeah.
Because that way you're going to get a natural reaction. Because like what you said in that part, she's struggling because everybody's hitting her up because he's not answering his phone. So it's like, and in the last episode, which I saw most of it, you see him like how he played it out. Like when they carry him out and all that stuff, they actually have a camera there and the door closed. And then you could hear when Seth Rollins was like, yo, did everybody believe it? Did it look good, right? And then just those two people in there with him are like, yeah, everything looked good. Like you could tell everything was being worked and they did a great job in it and they were fine with it. But going back to Cody Rhodes, I am shocked, Sean, at the fact that Cody Rhodes, the guy who left WWE, went and opened and started a new organization, a new wrestling business with AEW, and then comes back and Triple H has so much trust and has made him his number one. Like, either it's a huge mistake by Tony Khan by letting somebody like that leave your wrestling federation. Because dude, I'm shocked at how much confidence, and if that's the leader of the whole WWE, keep in mind that guy was the one who opened and was trying to go with the AEW people and start up a different, another type of wrestling to compete against WWE. And dude, it just shocked me. I thought that was crazy that you get to see that much trust between them and that he's gained that much trust in the WWE world.
Yeah, well, I think he's grown up a lot. I mean, through his own admission. Like, he just got burned out because he was burned out, and the opportunities that they gave him, he didn't really take advantage of. So then he was like, "I'm done. I'll go rebuild myself on the Indies." Then he did that, and he, hooked up with, the Bullet Club with Nick, the Elite, and Matt, and then they found Tony Khan and did this whole AEW thing. And see, Cody Rhodes wrestling lines up more with Triple H and WWE than it does AEW. I think that's the one thing that's missed by a lot. The way he perceives wrestling, the way Dusty and everything was brought up, you see that more in WWE than you see from AEW. And I think that's where a lot of the issues started, because I think Cody wanted to go one way. And again, I don't know that Cody's way would have worked in AEW or not. And I don't know that, so I'm not here to say that, but it was a lot better to me, story-wise, when Cody was there for the 5 years. And now it's starting to get better once again. But there was a lofty little middle area where they were missing something.
I agree 100%, man. I agree. I feel, and I think that's why AEW has missed on a lot of opportunities ever since he left. Because think about it, man. CM Punk is the champion. Obviously, Cody Rhodes was the champion before he just lost to Drew McIntyre. But you had two of the biggest wrestling brands in
And
AEW.
Jade, don't think about Jade too. She's the women's champion.
And you had them in AEW, and now you have them in WWE, and they're running the show over there. So it's like, it's just so much missed opportunities. It's terrible. It's sad for the Tony Khan and AEW.
I think Tony Khan wanted AEW to be so different from WWE that he felt Cody was pulling it closer to it. And I think that might have been a disconnect.
You gotta look, man. I've if you want to run a business, you have to be able to mimic some of the stuff from other businesses, and then you put your own twist on it as well. So that's how you stand out. But just because you want to be completely different doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be better.
Yeah.
There is it looks like whenever you want to do something, sometimes you have to start from the ground up. And sometimes you got to just see your surroundings and work with it. And then, you get, like, I've worked in different companies. And if I was to start my own business, I would use my knowledge and what I've learned from those companies to start out my company. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just unfortunate that Tony Khan felt that way. But anything else on the Unreal season 2 that you noticed or that we forgot to mention?
I love the way they have positioned Penta.
Oh yeah, Penta was talked about
this as well. Again, Penta's a big deal in Mexico, and they make you feel how big of a deal he is. And it goes to where I think it was Michael Hayes who said, he's like, I knew he was good. I just didn't know if he was going to be able to connect with our fan base. And he said, and once he came out and he did, I was like, this is gold. And Paul Heyman said the same thing. And when you got those kind of minds knowing that, it's like, again, it's like, and I know Ray, Phoenix, and them say their goal was to get to WWE. But I feel like if they were given the world in AEW, they wouldn't have left.
I agree. They had and they weren't bad, man. They were really good in AEW too.
They were one of the best, but
they
just
really
started
good.
getting mobbed down inside of everything that was going on, and it was like
there is something also that by you bringing up Ray, that I also got from these shows was the fact that a lot of the young talent, like what you said earlier, that's why that John Cena has always been like, hey, it's about the future, it's about the future. All of them have like that same concept of like, yo, the next generation, the next generation. You hear it from Seth, you hear it from CM Punk, you hear it from Randy Orton. They showcase that a lot. They Becky highlights Lyra Valkyria, Seth highlights Braun Breaker. um I think it was Randy Orton, Randy Orton and his whole Jelly Roll, because Jelly Roll played a big part as well, and I think it was
Yeah, I think
episode
that's the
4.
next episode I'm getting to.
Yeah, so and that's inspiration, because they actually show Jelly Roll, and Jelly Roll is not obviously up and coming talent, but
No.
but still, it was cool to see how the WWE has worked this, because now if you're a Jelly Roll fan, you'll tune in to at least that episode 4, because it basically, they interview him, they tell him about how he was like, he gives his reason as to why he lost so much weight. There was a part where he says that 2 guys had to help him get up, and at that time he was huge, and then it shows a little bit of how he's lost so much weight, and he's at 300 pounds, and that now he's like weighing what he used to weigh in middle school and stuff like that. So WWE is smart in what they're showcasing
Mhm.
as well. And then the LA Knight situation is also interesting, because I feel like you could get storylines out of this Unreal stuff as well,
Oh no,
because you're gonna get takes from like people.
there's a reason this is calculated. I said already he's going to have a big 2026. I think this is gearing up to that. You start seeing, in the first ones where he makes the mistake, and then now, I haven't seen the rest of them, but I got to believe there's going to be a little bit of character arcs here and there.
Well, they highlighted his reaction to how Seth Rollins, when he injures it, because he knew. So they actually, in that episode, I think it's either 4 or 5, is where they actually give LA Knight kudos for being like playing it out perfect, like
Yeah,
being upset, walking out of the ring very quickly after saying, "Damn it, man, why does this happen?" Him keeping his mouth shut, not
yeah.
telling anybody about all this stuff, because he was in the work too.
Hmm.
So it goes to show you, and like what you said, I think you're gonna get something more from LA
Yeah.
Knight now, because you could actually develop a story, and you're gonna get. I'm pretty sure WWE is looking at this to see what the fans are talking
Oh
about in
yeah, you're
social
gonna see
media.
what episodes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're gonna start seeing what.
So you'll see,
Yeah,
oh crap, people, LA Knight, oh crap, Penta, oh crap, this and the other, and obviously the Jelly Roll and the whole Randy Orton and all them, when they worked
yeah,
that out as well. So, and then Logan Paul was also talked about and all stuff. So a very talented guy, and I do like the fact that they also show and they talk about how, hey, let's go ahead and yo, they need to do this move or they need to do that move, and yes, they're like, yes, we got the move and all that stuff. So I like the fact that they always bring out the whole being try to make wrestling as realistic as possible, right? It's like a live show, and you want to make it, you want to surprise the fans, and you also want to keep it as authentic and not like scripted as possible,
yeah.
even though.
But then also it's about catching the right camera angles. If you watch it all the time, they're like, "Hey, widen out, widen out, widen out." Like with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, they're like, "Get wider, get wider, get wider." Because again, they have the vision in their face. The cameraman's trying to get the best shot he can while he's there, but he doesn't know what's really coming. So they have to tell him in his ear, "Hey, cameraman, zoom out a little bit, get wider. I want the full crowd behind Io when she jumps, and this ladder match, like it is such an orchestrated um production." And
Yeah.
and that's where I think, for everything that Tony Khan talks about, like, "Oh, we don't do meet." You should do meetings, because then you'll get, some of this stuff that happens won't happen. You know what I'm saying? You won't get you're going to get botches. That's going to happen. It's a live performance. That's going to happen. But if you have an idea, or you get your cameraman on headset, you can see it lining up to be like, "Oh, this is going to be bad. Let's go to a wider angle or something." So then when that hits, we're not directly on the fact that they missed by a mile. You know what I'm saying? Because like even WWE, what they'll do is, if you watch it on some of the stuff, they don't necessarily zoom in on punches. They go wide enough to where you can't tell. Now, if you get a phone and you take a picture and you zoom in, you can see how far they're probably missing.
Yeah, all day.
But on TV, it looks legit, because the camera angles from the side to where you can't see it. They're missing by 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that you get in the production meetings. It's not just, necessarily, "Oh, you have to do this, 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 and this." No, it's so that they understand, okay, this is how it's going to go, and that's why the producer sits there the whole match. It's like,
But
all right, guys, in 3 moves, in 3 right after this clothesline, and they're going to do 2 other moves, and then it's the big power bomb spot because they understand the workings of the match, so that the cameraman now can start moving around to be in position to where they need to be for the move instead of just surprising everybody.
I think this is where I get where Tony Khan comes from, and it's because of the relationship to sports when it comes to his ties to the NFL and to soccer. Because I will tell you this, production, when I and shout out to the Miami Sharks, because obviously unfortunately they're not running it back this year, but I've worked with the Miami Sharks for 2 years in a row now. This would have been our 3rd year. When we did production, we never had any production meetings, Sean. So the way we did it was we would all have like a thread and we would just talk about it for like they'll give us like a guideline of what to expect. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna run this, for this, and then we would wing it. That's what we did the first season. And we made so many mistakes because remember, or you guys don't know, but I was the DJ throughout like the whole breaks and all that stuff, and these are actually were being televised on ESPN Plus, and so you could have watched these games. But what would happen here is after 1 year of making mistakes, we learned from that and we started to correct it. But even though we learned from it, we never went ahead and actually had like sit downs of certain things. We just went with the same routine, and I think that's where he gets like confused, because I think that's why he thinks that way, because he treats it like if it was the NFL or like if it's the NBA or like if it's a sporting event, because in sporting events my friends that are DJs on some of these big sporting teams and stuff like that, they'll tell me, hey, yeah, we have like a brief rundown of everything, but they don't actually sit down and go word by word, kind of like what
Yeah,
WWE does
but
though.
again, in the sports, you can't be like, hey, the 49ers on 2nd and 10 are going to be doing an out pattern, so let's make sure we got the camera
that
perfectly.
that
In
that is
wrestling, you
that is
can.
yeah, it
In
is that
wrestling, you can. That's again, this
that's
is
the
where
problem.
I
That's where
feel
you get
like
fixed. Yes,
it's still more entertainment than sports.
of
That's the
course.
problem. Like,
Yes,
and that's where to me they missed the boat on,
hundred
because
percent.
then you make it a bigger production.
Yes,
You know what
yes.
I'm saying? Instead of being
That's the
what it
difference
is.
between wrestling and like a live sporting event. You don't have to get a different angle on a particular play because you get it. I'm not, and granted, production in the NFL and all that stuff has changed, and the
Well,
cameras
yeah,
and
they
all
got
the effects.
cameras everywhere now, and you got the
Yeah,
one overhead. I
yeah.
mean,
And then obviously they've worked on it, so it's like, but you get our concept here that in a regular, let's not use NFL because NFL is like so high end and they want
no,
to
but
invest
any
more money.
sport though is reactive. You're filming a live. You don't know they're going to pass the ball wherever. You don't know
Correct.
when they're going to shoot the ball. You
Yeah.
don't know any of that. But in wrestling, you do.
Yeah.
So you can set up a production because you know at least the big moves that are going to happen.
100%.
And to not take advantage of that, it's not a smart man. Not a smart at all.
No, no. All right, so we covered Unreal, we covered the TNA, we covered the new hirings. Uh, what we still got like two. Well, we spoke a little bit about Ring of Honor. If you want to talk about that very quickly, I just wanted to
Yeah.
ask you on the Ring of Honor for you guys. We mentioned that Tony Khan is actually doing some production now and a collaboration with Athena's promotion, Metroplex Wrestling. My question to you is this something Tony Khan should continue to do in Ring of Honor? Working with these indie shows in order to kind of build up the Ring of Honor brand. I actually personally like the fact that he's doing this with Metroplex. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know if maybe he's doing it just because it's Athena's promotion, but and Athena, if you guys don't know, she's a wrestler in AEW, the Ring of Honor champion. But I like this. If this is a route he's gonna take, where he probably is gonna start looking to actually work with these indie shows and actually make collaboration, kind of like that Forbidden Door, and just actually bring them into life. Because if you do that, you're gonna see you could get stars out of these indie shows, and it'll be a lot easier for him to identify, hey, look, this guy's really good, that girl's really good. I mean, bring him on. I like this. Like, let's say, for example, in the future, he actually has a collaboration with CCW, and then all of a sudden, you're gonna have CCW fans tuning into Ring of Honor. I think that would
So
be
we're gonna have
amazing.
an AEW ID program too instead of a WWE ID program.
I guess. I mean,
You know, I like it, but I think it's nothing more than him, the respect he has for Athena and her promotion, and like, hey, let's work together. Let's get you some fans in the building. We'll do a collaborative effort, and I think that's where this stands. Now, again, I don't know what he's going to do with the Ring of Honor brand because I would have already made Ring of Honor NXT.
if he could turn this whole brand of Metroplex and bring it over, and maybe it's a one-off, but then he starts doing this with a lot of indie shows, I think he could start something up. I think this could
Yeah,
be
but
something good.
I think Tony's a dirty name. TK is a dirty name when it comes to like stealing talent. And I know a lot of the indies will be like, hey, yes, but there's still some indies that, you know, they got TV with Triller TV. You've got indies now that can have their own TV. CCW, YouTube, every one of like their shows out of I believe the Pompano one is always on YouTube.
They have some of the tapings on YouTube.
Well, no,
Yes,
the tape, but live. They do the live shows
I
in
didn't know they.
Pompano.
I didn't know
I've
they
watched the
taped the
last
live
three of
ones.
them.
Oh,
The
wow.
last three of them, I think it was the ones in Pompano, I believe.
Okay, all
Or was
right.
it Doral? Which one was it? It was the one
I,
where they go live. So, like, now you have your avenue there. I mean,
and
again,
shout out to CCW. They had freaking
three
Cor
shows.
no, not only that, but they actually had also Mandy Sachs. Mandy Sachs, yeah, Mandy Sachs, and Cora Jade training in the CCW
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
Bingo. Yeah.
and they were and they're smart. They were like showcasing it and showing it and saying, hey,
Yeah,
look.
no, yeah, hell yeah. Hell
That
yeah,
way more
dude.
people can look and see like, "Oh shit, look who we got
Mhm.
in our training facility." That was impressive. But I don't know. I like the idea. I think if he does
No,
something like
I
that
don't
would be
think
cool.
it's not a bad idea. I
And he
just don't
doesn't
think it's what you think it is. I think it's more, I
wow.
respect her so much and I'm going to help out her company, her school, give it the Ring of Honor rub to where the audience is a little bit bigger and we can build something. Not saying now they might do a collaborative effort, it would make sense. But again, I don't know that it's going to branch off and be the other part of what you think it is going to
No,
be.
but I think this is what I'm thinking. The same way you mentioned earlier, which I thought was still kind of shady, but still they're doing it. Is that WWE had a like some type of agreement with TNA, and then all of a sudden they're kind of picking out their wrestlers out of there. I guess I feel like Tony Khan could do something similar, just and again, not behind their backs, because I know that he did that before with the big companies, but focus on the indies and give those guys an opportunity to showcase themselves, and then have the opportunity to come to Ring of Honor. And I think you're gonna get
Yeah,
more eyes at Ring of Honor.
but Ring of Honor has a good roster. I mean, the problem is they're not showcased enough. You have
That's
them stuck on an app
yeah,
that
but
nobody wants to pay for.
you said a good roster, but name me somebody there that that is a superstar that you're like, yo, I gotta tune into Ring of Honor to watch it.
I mean, it's Ring of Honor. Athena, I guess, maybe.
And they even have brought in Athena more into
Billy
AEW.
Starks.
She had her moment. She had her the time
Yeah.
coming up, but nothing like I'm not. If you go to
But
your
whose fault is that? That again, that's it's like, so what? You're just gonna bring more shit and pile it on? Like that's what I feel like you're doing.
okay,
It's like,
I wouldn't say
okay,
more shit.
we have all this food here. Let's go get groceries and bring it in and see if Tony Khan can make a better recipe. Like,
Okay,
oh,
okay.
oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
oh.
I'm not gonna lie. You're right. He should do a little bit more exposure for Ring of Honor and more, promotion for it and more like bigger for for a bigger audience to see. But you also
Didn't they move
need.
Eddie Kingston over there to Ring of Honor?
I don't remember, man. I don't know. I think they did for us like a split minute, and then but Eddie Kingston's been in and out because of his injuries and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's been there or not recently. I know he came back to AEW and he did a couple of dynamites. And one day I believe it's when they were doing the blood and guts around that time frame is when Eddie Kingston had come back. But Besides that, he was in Ring of Honor before that, after his long break from
Yeah,
injury.
no, just recently, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz rushed to the aid after a post-match attack from the Grizzly Young Vets.
See, but again, do you think Eddie Kingston's a needle mover? I don't.
Well, I mean,
I think he's a
again,
solid
what
wrestler, but I
what are
don't
you
think he's a
trying to
needle.
do at Ring of Honor? You should try to make Ring of Honor what NXT is.
I agree with that. But then
That's it. I
you
mean, I
need to
don't know.
you need to find one wrestler or two wrestlers, women or two women, two guys that are gonna lead that charge to make that promotion better. Kind of like what TNA was having when they had Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry blew up, and then all of a sudden, people started tuning into TNA a lot more often, and that's why WWE eventually ended up taking Joe Hendry from TNA, because they found that guy. They're like, damn, this guy's a hit. People want to tune into TNA for this guy. I don't think they have anybody in Ring of Honor that's like that. I think that's the problem too. I granted, I agree with you that Tony needs to improve on promoting it and
I
maybe
think the
putting it in a
talent's
better.
there. That's my thing.
I
I
don't
just
think it
don't
is.
think
I
they're
think there's
used.
decent.
They're doing.
I think there's decent talent there. I think there's good quality. There are decent wrestlers there. I just don't feel they don't have that number one guy that you could be like, damn, let me run like WWE. You got Cody. AEW. Technically, you would probably say is Moxley or the Hangman, one of those guys, or Darby Allin could be the other one. TNA right now, I guess it would be Frankie Kazarian or Santana holding it down over there, I guess. But there's always that one person that you could rely heavily on. And I just don't see anybody in Ring of Honor that I could say, yo, that's the leader, and I'm gonna go in there. Because look at what you just said. You brought up Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's not his in Ring of Honor roster. He's an
The Beast
AEW guy.
Mortos is on there.
Again, another guy, another
Beef is on there.
another guys that are from AEW, and that like they just rotate them over to Ring of Honor just for the hell of it,
Yeah,
just to
because
get some
that's
type
what.
of.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is that's you need to use this for NXT. You should have some of the guys that are getting TV time on AEW over to Ring of Honor to get more matches, and move some of the guys that have the stuff in Ring of Honor over to AEW TV.
But if you notice,
Is
think
what you
about
need to do.
think about NXT right now. Who does NXT after moving Obafemi, moving Trick Williams, moving Jordan Grace, Stephanie Valkyrie, Julia? Don't you feel like? I mean, I know Ricky Saints is still there. I know Ethan Page is still there. There's still a couple guys there. Um, but look at Mariah May. They're thinking about moving her out there. But don't you feel like NXT right now doesn't have like that one wrestler that used to stand out? Like Obafemi would be the
Yeah,
guy.
but again, that's
Williams would
where
be the
it
guy.
goes to. TKO wants it to be a developmental territory, and I believe Triple H wanted it to be a third brand, and
Yeah.
Triple H lost that battle, so now it's going to become a developmental territory.
See, but if you do that
You
to
do
the
with Ring of
extreme,
Honor is make it, and again, you're teaching them the WWE way in NXT, so when they move up, they're ready. Now, do they get pushed correctly? Most of the time, no, but they're ready for the moment. You go to Ring of Honor and you go back to AEW, you're the same person. Like they need to streamline some of this to be like, okay, this is what AEW wrestling is. And this is what we need it to be. And then you can shift the focus onto what is AEW. Because right now, tell me, what is AEW wrestling? What is the mission? If you're trying to talk somebody into watching an AEW show, what is it?
just wrestling. Just wrestling. Like there's nothing there's nothing bigger than that. They just focus on the wrestling. They're not nothing about there's no stories there that wow you. I years ago, probably like 2 years ago or something like that. I believe it's 2 years ago. Funny enough, man, I criticized it and you loved it. And it was when MJF and Adam Cole were doing that Adam Cole MJF baby sec together,
Mm-hmm.
and they would do all those little
Yeah.
segments and promos and people loved it, bro.
We're better than you, baby.
That they had the kangaroo kick and they had
Yep.
all that stuff and it was
Oh,
entertaining. They
it
got rid of
was.
all that. They don't do
Yeah.
that as much anymore. So and I actually now miss it, and I'll eat my words. I thought that was garbage, but I miss it. I really read that wrong and said, no, that's
You
what you
have
need
to
to
have
do.
a mixture, and like you have to have the wrestling. You do. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh no, it's all wrong, but you also have to have the entertainment aspect, because to tune into a wrestling show every week, why?
Yeah.
I want to be entertained. If I want to go watch a great wrestling show every week, I can do down here at CCW. They're wrestling everywhere. I can go watch great wrestling every week right there. So like it's not just the wrestling. It's also the entertainment aspect of it that keeps people coming in.
The other thing on the AEW side that we were going to talk about was MJF defending his AEW World Heavyweight title at an indie show. Um, Talk to me, Sean. You think that was a good idea, or is that a one-off and they should stay away from that?
Look, man. I mean, if you're AEW, as long as it's calculated, I'm not putting MJF in some kind of feud with a guy where he's going to some indie show and it's in a barbed wire match or something. You know, you keep it calculated, and AEW goes on a world tour, or MJF goes on a world tour defending the AEW Heavyweight Championship. And again, this goes back to what you just said. He's going there and he's taking on their top talent. They're wrestling MJF. MJF can report back and be like, he's got it. Nope, he doesn't have it yet. Hey, I was on the show. There's this tag team we probably need to take a look at. You know what I'm saying? So now you have that inside there on those shows. So overall, I don't think it's a bad thing, unless you get them, you don't do it a calculated way and you have him taking risks and he gets hurt doing it. Because MJF's not a high flyer. If he can do his MJF matches and keep it that way, I have no problem with that.
Well, here's my thing. I like it and I don't like it. I
But
like
as soon as he gets hurt, TK's a dumbass.
so I that point, that perspective of him getting hurt, I agree 100%. My issue with the whole situation too is it, and I don't know to what point. Maybe there's a possibility, maybe, but he loses the title to an indie wrestler. Like, could we actually see that actually happen? I don't know. I that's why I'm saying, like, it brings in some curiosity, and then
Well,
it
the
also
thing
brings
is,
in,
if
like,
they could run an angle that way to where maybe,
yes, that
you
would
know
be
what you could
interesting.
do? What they could do is they do an independent show and he wrestles Mr. CCW.
Okay.
And it's a mask guy. And he wrestles him the whole match. Boom, boom, boom. Rolls him up real quick. 1, 2, 3. Takes off the mask. And it's Hangman.
Or Swerve, or one of those
Swerve.
guys.
Or whoever else you want to name.
Yeah.
You know, you could do it that way. That would be something
cool
too, because now you're like, well, shit. They're doing title changes on independent shows.
Yeah, that is true. But I don't know if you're gonna get the AEW like fans. I mean, you might get more promotion for that indie show more than the AEW, to be honest with you. But
Well, yeah, but again,
it would be
then you do the
different.
title change and now you go to AEW TV and you can play it. This is what happened in Pompano Beach this Saturday. Last Saturday. Boom, you play it. MJF's no longer your champion. It just, or you could come back and you could do the old Dusty Rhodes trick to where Mr. CCW beats him, but he won't unmask, and we got to strip the title from the guy that won't unmask and give the title back to MJF because it doesn't count.
Or he loses the belt to a guy with a mask, right? And then they try to, like, he'll make guest appearances to AEW, but he's never going to defend his belt. If you want to go ahead and defend his belt, you have to go to his indie show to fight him at the indie show. That'd be pretty cool as well. But I mean, I see it as, like what you said, it could be dangerous in the sense that he could get hurt. But I also like the fact that, hey, it's strategic, because obviously MJF is going to tell him, hey, look, this guy has it, this girl has it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that I like that. Anything else we want to talk about? I think Finn Balor. So that was the last one before we do our Saturday night main event card predictions, and I don't think it's been promoted that much, to be honest with you. But Finn Balor, and the reason I brought this one up Sean, was because I don't know about you, but damn, bro, last night's main event was amazing. That CM Punk Finn Balor fight was really, really good, man. I don't know if you thought it was really good, but I thought it really, really showcased Finn Balor. And I know Finn Balor's potential. And a lot of people have always said, hey, man, this guy has it. But WWE has never been able to push him to be. A lot of people thought he was going to be the next part of the next core group of guys that are going to be, the future of WWE. But he's kind of sat in that middle of the pack group for some strange reason. But seeing that fight yesterday, man, and that main event against CM Punk and him losing and everything, I hope, I'm praying, I'm crossing my fingers that they find a way to put Finn Balor as one of the main big guys in the roster moving forward.
I mean, unfortunately, I think they've already been there, and I almost feel like this was his. You're at home. Thank you for all you've done. Here's your coup de grace, shall we say? Remember, he was the very first Universal World Heavyweight Champion, and then he was injured, and then it never transpired after that way, and that was with the old regime. Mm-hmm. Finn Balor has it. He has it. I mean, they ruined the Demon, but when he did that, I mean, it's just he has it. He does. I just don't see them. I feel like this was the thank you for all you've done for us. We're going to make sure you get one more big match and send off. And they did it on this tour in his hometown.
Are you insinuating that they might let him go?
No, I don't think they're going to let him go, but I don't know how much more time he has left.
I mean, for me, man, I know that was a different regime.
And I don't think WWE's going to push him in the next couple of years. That's the other thing. They're going to keep him right where he's at. He's at that moment where the baby faces, as they elevate, they beat him to elevate. You know what I'm saying?
They look at him as like Chelsea Green. That's what they do.
He's the heel LA Knight right now.
What do you mean the heel LA Knight right now?
Because LA Knight elevates the heels, and Finn Balor elevates the baby faces.
That's a good point. Yeah. But I think he should not be in that role.
No, I don't think so either.
Because he has the potential, and he showed it. He 100%. Showed it yesterday.
Yes.
So I don't know if I hope WWE changes their perception of him and pushes him, because I do honestly feel that at the end of the day, he could be the face of WWE. He really can. Dude, he has the ability to be that face of WWE. He should be one of the main guys. I think they give him the bad end.
I think he should be up on the main part. Yes, I agree with you there. I don't know that he would ever be the face of WWE.
Do you feel that that if they were to give him that opportunity, that he could get to that level, or do you feel like he should stay where he's at, which is mid-level, helping the babies get over?
No, I think he can. I think he could elevate up. I just don't know how long he can stay up. That's the thing. I think it would be a Jey Uso type thing.
I don't know, man. Do you think Jey Uso is better than Finn Balor?
I don't mean in ring. Finn Balor runs circles around Jey Uso
all day.
But again, when you look at it, for some reason, WWE, if you're not CM Punk or Cody Rhodes, you've got to be a Drew McIntyre, a Brock Lesnar, a Roman Reigns, big guys to keep the belts. And that's always been a WWE thing.
No doubt. Sean mentioned it.
And I think another thing that it goes back to is, and I always say this, WWE conditions their fans. And when you look at their heavyweight champions, until recently with Seth and guys like that, it's always been the big monsters.
So then you know what? If I'm Finn Balor, I would test the waters, man. I would try If my contract is up, I would try my luck in a different promotion, in a different wrestling
No, but
promotion.
I think he's happy doing what he's doing with what he's doing. I just think
I don't know. I
he's
wouldn't be.
okay.
Well, again, that's where you and on that Unreal, you notice some of the people who are there. They like Braun Breaker's one of them. He's like, I want to be the top guy. I want to
Yeah.
be the head star. And there's some people who doesn't. Maybe Finn Balor is the one that doesn't. But
Yeah,
Lyra
but I
is
don't
another
think
one.
Finn Balor's not going to sit there and act like he doesn't. He'll still go out there, do his job, and perform. But I think he's been conditioned from the previous regime to where he understands his role.
But again,
Just like Chelsea Green knows her role. And again, in Unreal, you heard what Michael Hayes said. She's never going to be the Charlotte Flair. She's never going to be the Becky Lynch. But she serves her purpose and her role.
but that's the problem. That's a problem. There's people you're either a sheep or you're the leader out there, and it just feels like she's part of the sheeps. She accepts her role. If she wants it bigger, you would go ahead and do it bigger. Watch Jelly Roll. If you haven't seen that segment with Jelly Roll there, Jelly Roll freaking bought 2 houses in Florida to train and do he would go and train, and after his training session, he would go and start his recording for his music. The guy worked his ass off because he knows that he wanted
You're
to
acting
be
like they
bigger.
don't work their. I'm not saying they don't work their
No,
ass off.
no, but
they know creatively what they're going to get.
No, Sean.
That plays a big part in how fans emotionally invest into a character. How they're being portrayed in their stories give you that investment. They booked Finn Balor in his hometown to wrestle for the heavyweight title. Every other town, he's been booked as the guy that can't keep Judgment Day together.
Again, what you need to do as a Finn Balor or Chelsea Green, and again, they might not be these type of people. Maybe there are. I feel like they're just satisfied with the role that they're given. You need to push yourself to even more levels. And if you feel that WWE is not giving you that, then you got to do what Cody did. Get the hell out of there and put a name for yourself. Do the same thing what Matt Cardona did. He left. He showed the world that he could handle it and he could be a star in the indies. Now he's back. And I hope that they push the hell out of him. And I feel like he's already having better, they're interviewing him.
You talked about 2 wrestlers out of hundreds of thousands of wrestlers. You got 2 cases.
Again, that's the drive. And nobody said it was going to be easy.
No, I think that's BS. These guys got drive.
No, that's not BS, Sean. They're all we're all wrestlers.
Bro,
they're all
you go out there and do what they do night in and night out and tell me they don't have drive. Don't sit there and tell me, sitting behind a microphone, that they don't go out there and bust their ass. You have no idea what it is to go in there and be in the ring and wrestle, even on a weekend. What you got to do. I trained 5 days a week in the gym. Then I spent 3 nights a week at the wrestling gym to go wrestle 1 10-minute match on Saturday.
I get the drive.
So you don't think these guys and gals are doing that? That's some bullshit.
Okay. I don't.
That is.
I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're not hardworking individuals. I'm not saying that the time and the effort that they put into their craft is not there. You could tell me that. Yes, I've never been in a ring. Yes, I don't know what it is to go on the mat day in and day out and go practice and all that stuff because that wasn't my craft. My craft has been DJing. You see me wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to work, and then after that, go and do my regular 9 to 5 job, then go DJ for 8 or 9 hours until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, wake up the next morning and go back to work and do my regular 9 to 5 job. Yes, I am not a wrestler, but I know the drive. And if I want to become a better DJ, I have to sacrifice myself. And I know that these guys do a certain thing, but there's a point where you get stagnant. And that's why I said not everybody goes and makes it to the top. I'm not the best DJ in the world. I need to practice like a savage. But it's up to me, Frank, to go ahead and keep pushing myself to that. And not everybody's going to be able to have that same drive. Because at the end of the day, everybody would then make it. That's what I'm just trying to say, and I'm not trying to discredit.
No,
And I'm
no,
not
no,
trying to
no.
discredit
But
any wrestler,
no, no,
including
no, no, no.
indies or
Okay.
anything like that.
I maybe misspoke for you. I apologize on that part of it. But here's the thing, though. You, Frankie, the DJ, control yourself.
100%.
Now, if somebody else controlled you and said, "Hey, Frankie, you're DJing at the 7-Eleven. Frankie, you're DJing at the Cumberland Farm. Frankie, you're DJing," and he gives you all those gigs, are you still going to be able to elevate the way you want to elevate?
That's when you yourself have to look at yourself and be like, okay, let me do them. Let me try it out. Because obviously you don't know where you could get, right? You're not gonna know where you're gonna get if you don't do it in the first place. So I would try it out and then see if it works for me. And if it works for me and I see that I'm getting better and more exposure and more then yeah, I'll stick to it because I'm like, okay, I gotta keep going. Maybe this is gonna elevate me to where I want to get. But if I see that I'm here and then I've done it and then all of a sudden I'm stagnant and I'm not going anywhere and I want more, then that's when you have to unfortunately take that risk and say, you know what? Yes, it's guaranteed work. Yes, it's guaranteed money, but this is not just not gonna get me to where I want to get. I'll give you I have no problem sharing this with you. I'll share it to the world because I don't care anymore. I've always told everybody my purpose as what I've learned is that I want to do something different than what I do right now, my regular 9 to 5 job. I've already mentioned that to many people behind the scenes, behind the camera, but I'm opening up to you and to the people who are watching. But I'm not gonna get there until I finally make the decision to let go of something. So I have to make that decision, and it's hard because all of us get comfortable. All of us. I know, Sean, that there must have been a point in time in your career, in your wrestling career, that you wanted to make that extra step. And if you could take back and say, "Hey, damn it, I should have done this," you would have done it differently. Same thing goes with me with certain things. That's the way. So it's hard because we have responsibilities. We get comfortable. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why when you say, Frankie, you only mentioned 2 guys, Cody Rhodes, Matt Cardona. Yeah, because those guys took that risk. Those guys said, "Hey, fuck it. If I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna go down fighting, and if I fail, I fail. But I'm not gonna have that mindset of failing. I'm gonna make it out." That's how billionaires become billionaires sometimes.
But how old do you think Finn Balor is right now?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me more or less. Maybe in his mid
Take a
30s.
guess.
38.
44.
Oh, I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't
But
have
still,
that much.
but age is just a number, Sean. Freaking,
Bro,
freaking,
like,
freaking,
oh my
freaking.
God,
No, no,
man.
no. You want to know something?
I mean,
You
I
wanna,
get what you're saying.
you want to know
but,
something? You want to know
like,
something? David, David Guerra did not become the high prolific DJ until he hit his 40s.
yeah, no,
David
no,
Guerra.
I understand that, but Finn Balor destroyed his body early on in Japan and all that stuff when he was doing all that stuff over there. Like, I just again I go back to where with Finn Balor that one is he's okay with JD McDonough being a tag team right now because it's not wear and tear on his body and he's able to live a life and ride off into the sunset at some point here soon.
Maybe he just feels that at this point in time it's too late in his career. And I get it. I
think he might get one more push after that match. I think they saw something and it was like, hey, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give him one more shot? Not saying he's going to win the title, but give him a run up and go. I don't see what that would hurt, but I just don't see him going back to the top and being the face of WWE.
Well, how old is LA Knight? LA Knight is probably in his 40s too. He's probably like 41.
I think he's probably about the same age actually.
And from what we were talking about, it looks like maybe they want to give him a push.
He's 43.
And it looks like he's trying to make a push. Don't you feel that way? That they might consider giving him a push and be like, damn. And if he gets his turn, if he gets his opportunity, he might become big at age 43. So,
yeah, but again, are you going to push a 43-year-old LA Knight and a 44 Finn Balor at the same time? That's what I'm saying. Like, I could see Finn Balor getting the push mainly because I feel like this is set up for LA Knight for this year. This is LA Knight's year to where, at least the beginning of the year, to where it's, okay, let's see how it works. And if it works out, then good. If not, then maybe they find another path. But I feel like this is set up for him. So now that pushes Finn Balor back at least 6 months. If it does work out, it pushes him back another year. Now he's 45. So
again, I don't see it. I still see that he has an opportunity
no,
based on based on
he
his
has the
in-ring.
talent. I don't think they'll give him the opportunity.
All right, only time will tell, my friend.
Yeah, no, 100%.
All right, let's. I know we've gone a little bit further than a lot longer than the 2 hours we usually hold it down. So let's end the night with obviously the Saturday night main event card. Which
Yeah.
I don't. Do you feel they've been promoting this really well?
No, not really, not at all. I don't even understand. I'm looking at the card right here, and I don't understand it.
I didn't even. When I saw the today, like before when we were coming up with the topics, I looked. I was like, "Holy crap! There's a Saturday night main event coming up this weekend." So I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, well, the Royal Rumble is 7 days later.
That's insane. I forgot that
the Royal Rumble is the 31st.
Jesus Christ, this is insane.
They're building another stadium. They had to build a whole new stadium for it.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that they were building a stadium over there.
It's crazy.
All right, well,
$55 billion for a pay-per-view. You don't even have a stadium for it. What is that?
Well, all right. So what we got here? So you want me to bring up the card, or do you?
Yeah, I guess bring
it
up because the card I got here, I don't understand how the hell they have it.
All right, so we'll try with some of the ones that I get. This one's odd. So you got Cody. Oh no, well this one's legit. They've had some stories. We'll start with this match: Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu, and obviously Jacob Fatu because Jacob Fatu just came back from his old injury and all that stuff. And I was a little bit upset. I thought they should have pushed Jacob Fatu to being a champion right away into title contention. But obviously, if you want to hear that rant, listen to last week's show when Sean, Josh, and Bobby were like completely going after me for my wild takes. But in this one, man, Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. I'll let you go first. Who do you think is gonna win this one?
I think Jacob Fatu gets it, man. I think this is where you start the whole arc of Cody's character again, where he's gonna lose some, and then also Fatu's got to get elevated up into the title picture, and he does that by beating Cody. So I'm going to go Jacob Fatu in this one.
I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say a Cody goes and wins this one. And the reason I say Cody's going to win this one is because I think this is going to be somebody's going to interfere, whether it'll be somebody from Solo's group or whether it's somebody from anybody else who they want to put in the mix. I think they want to carry this story. I think if Jacob Fatu wins clean against Cody, it kind of defeats the purpose. I think they should run with this a lot longer.
I didn't say clean. I just said Jacob Fatu wins.
So hopefully I want Cody to win, and then hopefully they could carry on the story. I think they'll run it back, and then Jacob will win. But I wouldn't mind seeing also Jacob win and then Cody win it like that. I'm putting
the other way around. I think Cody's next opponent's going to be shown when this one happens. So.
All right, so you got Jacob. I'm gonna go on a different. I'm gonna say Cody. I think Cody deserves, especially since he just lost the belt against Drew McIntyre. I don't think he deserves back-to-back losses. I don't think WWE is gonna do that to him. All right. The next one we have here is the Women's Tag Team Championship. It's Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They actually promoted this one versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. I'll go on my end here. Look, they're all like announcing that they're going to the Royal Rumble. They were promoting that a lot, yes, on Monday Night Raw and everything. So if there's one better time to go ahead and have the title switched, it would be now. I personally feel that Io Sky or Rhea Ripley should go and be contenders in the Royal Rumble. I think one of them would be the favorites to win the Royal Rumble. I don't think I could see either or winning the Royal Rumble, and then not only that, challenging Stephanie Valkyrie for the belt. So I feel like you need to take those belts away from them. And I think you could also still bring in Nia Jax and Lash Legend involved into this. And then you could also make a fight between Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. So I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say there's an upset in the making, and you got Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez taking the belts from Rhea and Io Sky. What about you?
I mean, everything you said sounded dumb. Rio Sky wins it.
You're such an ass, bro. No, come on. How you gonna say it's dumb? They could either one of those two girls should go single and go against Stephanie Vaquer if they win the Royal Rumble.
No,
Why would
I think what you do is you have them win and keep the titles, and then one eliminate the other during the Rumble, and then that starts the tension, and then they'll lose the titles after that.
that sounds more reasonable, actually. Okay, moving on. Moving on. We have so we got that one. We got that one. I guess this one's the next one. Okay. So here is the 4-man. How many matches?
No. I believe you have to put Randy Orton versus Trick Williams first.
No, isn't that? Oh, that's the semifinal.
I think that winner of that is going to fill in for Dragunov. What happened to Dragunov?
No. I have here, it says Randy Orton versus Damian Priest versus Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. It's a fatal 4-way. That's what I thought it was.
Oh, versus Trick Williams?
Yeah, all 4 of them in a fatal 4-way. That's what I thought it was.
Okay, so maybe what I have is old then. Maybe they've already done the whole thing with Trick and Randy. I don't know.
It says, with a shot at the Undisputed Championship line, Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn, and Trick Williams will battle in a high-stakes main event Saturday night at the Bell Center. Yeah, all 4 of them are going at it.
I've got question marks in this, and then I've got down Randy Orton versus Trick Williams, potential part of fatal 4-way build.
But here's the thing: if is there, how many matches does it show on your end? Because if I only,
it was 4 with that. I only got 3 if that match doesn't happen.
Yeah, so that I only have 3. That's why.
Yeah.
But are they trying to pull a TNA here?
Yeah, they're going to do a TNA right here. They're going to show TNA how it's done with 3 matches.
I gotta look this up, but it has to be. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but if you look at it, you could probably. It's probably going to be because you're probably going to give Cody and Jacob 20 to 30 minutes. The tag team match will probably get 20 to 30, and the 4-way you could give 40 minutes at least if you wanted 30 to 40 minutes.
I guess. I mean, it's a 2-hour show, right?
Yeah, because the winner will be the number 1 contender, so I'm sure Drew will make an appearance.
Actually, you're right. It does say here, number 1 championship contender, Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and Sami. The women's tag team championship, and then Cody and Jacob. Damn it. Maybe they'll add something from SmackDown.
Maybe they usually do. They'll throw something in there, throw some scraps.
Maybe they'll add something from SmackDown because I just feel 3 matches just like TNA vibes. All right. Well, fatal 4-way. I guess this Trick Williams, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, and who's the last one I mentioned? Damian Priest. So
and where the number 1 contender gets the shot at the Royal Rumble, or when do they get their shot?
I think they get the shot at the Royal Rumble, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
It says fatal 4-way on first Monday to Saturday. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I think it is. I would have to Google it, but I believe they get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to Google it right now.
A Rumble. So while you look that up, though, out of these 4 guys here, now where? Oh man, this thing is in Montreal, bro. Sami Zayn is winning this crap.
Sami Zayn's winning too because the Royal Rumble's in Saudi Arabia.
So this is all day Sami Zayn, bro. Sami Zayn is winning this crap, bro.
This should just be Sami Zayn versus El Generico versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Sami Zayn is winning this crap, bro. Like I just saw that this isn't in Montreal. Get the hell out of here! And it's in Saudi, so no way Sami Zayn doesn't win this crap. Of course, Sami is the guy, and then he would have to go up against Drew McIntyre, which is it's a baby against a heel.
It's a good Royal Rumble title match.
Yeah,
because it's not going to overshadow the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be,
If we had to pick somebody a close second out of Randy, Damian, or Trick,
my pick would be Randy.
Me too. Yeah. I am excited.
It's too early for Trick and Damian. I don't want to go back to WrestleMania vibes.
Yeah, those were a little bit rough. I will say this: I am excited to see how Trick holds his spot. This is a good test for Trick Williams.
Yeah,
we're gonna get a good take of what Trick Williams is all about. If he could actually hang with these guys, or if he's still too green.
Yeah, I feel bad for Sami. Sami's gonna be the one getting thrown everywhere.
Dude, he's against a lot of big boys there, bro. He's a small one there, bro.
He's gonna be taking all the big bumps.
Yeah, he definitely.
Orton's not taking any big bumps.
Oh, absolutely not. That back ain't gonna hold up if he does.
Nope.
So
yeah,
no way. But yeah, so I guess we got those 3. So we got you agree with Sami, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, in Montreal and at Saudi Arabia, the title match. Come on,
it has to be. Sami. And even if it wasn't in Saudi, I still think just because he's in Montreal.
If he doesn't win, there's going to be a Sammy screw job or something. And he'll set up another storyline. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, again, the best thing, and I know they've done this a million times already, but could you imagine if KO came out and cost Sami Zayn in Montreal?
See, Sean, when you start bringing these ideas, it's where you start throwing us
Yeah,
off.
I know. Again, I say Sam, but I mean, that would be like, okay, go to WrestleMania, and I still think you should get Sammy and KO in like a street fight at WrestleMania, man. Like that would be the end all.
That would be badass. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But all right, sir, we took most of your times out there from all you guys. We appreciate you guys sticking with us for a little bit more than 2 hours. We'll go with you, Sean. Where can they find you on social media?
As always, at SS_sports talk on X, Stanley Media House everywhere else, Stanley Media House Network on YouTube, and make sure to check out the Facebook page, Stanley Media House Network.
Yeah, and you guys can follow me at Frankie Fresco on all social media platforms. And also you could catch me this weekend in LA. So if you guys are into LA tuning into the show, I'll be at NAM, DJ Convention Center, for all the audio, lighting, and all that stuff. I'll be out there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then to everybody who's tuning in on YouTube, on X, we appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like, make sure to hit the subscribe, make sure to follow both of our channels. If you're catching our replay, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, support the channel, support Sean, support my takes as well, my dumb takes. And any last words, Sean, before we head on out? Yeah, don't make those faces. Don't make those faces.
Come on, man. You have a great flight, sir.
Sir, I have a Hurricane Suck shirt, so I am doing fantastic. I hope I do have a great flight. Sir, Hurricane Suck, bro. Let's go.
In the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun, John State.
Just watch